right, Vern, are you ready? Are you ready to go on this fantastical journey, this ride where I'm about to take you on?
Man, where are we about to go on this next leg of our journey?
Okay, so before we start, I know if anybody's been listening since the beginning, first of all, shout out to y'all. If anybody's been listening to the beginning since the beginning, shout out to y'all for real. But we are now changing up the game. We're not doing what we were doing before. We were covering current events because the last 2 years we went from, okay, we'll give AEW a shot to screw this. We're not watching this every week. I like my sanity. And then it felt like it was getting stale and stagnant. So came up with the idea of, instead of just doing the current events, which starts to get stale after a while, let's journey back and let's pinpoint on some certain times in wrestling, whether they are celebrated or not. And I feel like this topic, maybe not celebrated, would be a better journey because, you know, all the celebrated ones everybody talks about. These are the ones that people talk about, but like cult classic kind of way, you know?
Sure.
So the first one we are doing is called Paul Heyman and the Smackdown 6.
So before we do all that, don't you think we should probably introduce ourselves? I'm sure.
No,
you don't even want to do that either.
Absolutely not. No, I'm kidding. Go right ahead.
I don't think I'm gonna get into all the usual nonsense I used to, but hey, man, what's going on? Welcome.
What's the deal?
Welcome to the journey. So glad you could be here with us today. Happy to have you jump aboard this wonderful experience we call the Pay Window Podcast.
Yes, sir.
I am the one and only Vernon Somoza, coming to you live from here.
Live to tape.
On the island, live to tape.
Live to tape.
Shout out to my guy, my boy, my partner in this wonderful experience that we're sharing, my guy, Frank Champion. What is going on? My boy, I'm excited. I have watched a lot of wrestling. I have read a lot of Observer. I'm excited to be trying something new, right? So we do watch lots of wrestling, but I can't say I watch a lot of stuff from the generation we grew up in. I try to watch stuff that I've never seen before. I try to always, like, you know, discover something new or tell you guys, oh man, I just watched something crazy. But most of the stuff from our youth, I tend to gloss over because I'm just pretty much,
we watched it already.
Why do I want to watch it a second time?
Correct.
But this era of wrestling is part of that lapse part, for that lapse period for me, where I knew it was happening, but I didn't know what was going on.
Or didn't really care.
Yeah.
Things changed. The roster changed around a lot around this time that we're going to cover. This was when we were. So the cool thing about it, if we were to incorporate our own lives at this time, this is March. So where we're starting is March 2002. And we're going to end the leg of this part of the journey, which is crazy because we really don't know where we're going to end off even at the end of this episode. Yeah. So however we get to, it's going to be at the end of July. So at that point, Vern, we were graduating high school. We were becoming young adults. I mean, I was 17 years old. Yep, yeah. 17 years old. You turned 18 years old that September, right? Early in the year.
September, early. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no. You just turned 17.
I just turned 17. I
just turned 17 because you'll be 18 that September after we graduated. So we were young adults, not even young adults yet. We were just 17-year-olds enjoying professional wrestling in the Attitude Era. So I don't blame you not wanting to go back and watch this. I do love the fact that we got to go back and now watch this episodically. Forgot to tell them we're recording. Because watching this episodically allows you to not only like nitpick, but like really analyze the story.
Yeah. Man, you really start to pick up on a lot of notes and like the booking. You start to pick up on, these guys are interacting with each other. Okay, next week's a tag match. Next week's a single. Next week's a tag match. Next week's a 6-man. And like you really start to like see that like the tag division. You know,
we're gonna talk about the tag.
Do you remember the WWF tag division of the golden 80s and the 90s? right? The era of tag team wrestling, of Demolition,
where you
of
looked like
the
a
Road
team all
Warriors,
the
of
time, right?
yes, of the
Yes.
era of the video game, where that early WWF video games where they had
WrestleFest. I always think of
the
WrestleFest.
WrestleFest, all the
You gotta
tag
make me
teams,
get a picture. Yeah, you gotta
right?
make me get a picture.
You had tons of tag teams in the 80s. WWF was dominated by tag teams. Tag team wrestling was on top.
Yeah.
Right? Back in the
Oh,
Garden.
look
The
at
Garden
that.
had tag team wrestling on top when Rock and Perez were on top in the Garden as a tag team. There was a place where tag team wrestling had its place, but
Absolutely.
during this time, watching it weekly, you really start to see like the role, how certain people filled a gap in role, and you're just like,
Real
whoa,
quick. Just had to see it.
let's go.
Man, somebody needs to redo this.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, but they don't have the WWF guys. They did with a bunch of indie guys, didn't they?
No, I thought they did. They redid WrestleFest for WWF. They did a modern version of it. Yeah.
Ooh, I had no idea.
I'm almost positive they did one.
Now you're gonna make me look that up later.
Wasn't it like a plug and play over at GameStop? They sold it.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
Say it one more time. I lost you for a second.
I said, wasn't it a
Was it
plug
like a
and
what?
play over at GameStop? I think.
Really?
I want to say yes. I want to say it was
Really?
like that. Yeah.
Kind of like the Pac-Man joints, like that.
I feel like it was something like that. It was something gimmicky like that.
I'm gonna look.
It was like a nuance, like a modern, just a newer version of it, or maybe it's for Xbox. I don't know, but I feel
there's
like
an arcade. There's an arcade one up for it, but that's the cabinet. That's like the baby.
yeah,
cabinet.
no. I could have, man. I'm
looking. All I see is a cabinet.
All right. Well,
like the original cabinet or the one up one, like the just bit my tongue, like the tabletop. But anyway, we're running on a tangent. All right, back to what we're getting into. So like you were saying, man, it's cool for us to go on this journey, because again, it was getting real stale, man. I wasn't even enjoying trying to find things for us to look up for current events, because after a while I'm just like, ugh, you know. So
oh, you're right. I am thinking of Retromania.
Retromania. Yeah,
that's the name
what
of
I was
it.
thinking
That has all the indie guys in it. You're 100%
all the indie
correct.
guys. Yep.
Because it does have the LOD and such, but yeah, it's like the same engine. You're right. I don't know why I thought that was a WWF game.
I mean, it looks great. Game looks great, but that's what it literally reminds me of. But, I'm like,
but it is. But you're so right. I do, because I own Retromania and I play it.
Do you?
A bunch? Yeah.
Okay, I know
have
it was
it on
like
my
a crowdfunded game, so
I was one of those crowdfunders.
Oh, shout out to you then.
You see me in the credits. You see Vernon and Somoza in the credits of the game.
Heck yeah. Now I'm gonna get it. Now that you're in it, I'm gonna get it.
Come on,
I gotta get it. All right, so
a producer or something. I forget.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you for
investing
in the budget. There you go.
Hey, bro. I would tell everybody, if I'm really into something like wrestling, if you really love wrestling, you put your money where your mouth is. You invest your money. If you're into something, you'll invest your money.
The good way to segue. We'll put our money where our mouth is, and we'll
let's
go.
We'll
get on this. How do you feel about letting the words fly? I know we were drunk that last time. We're gonna reel it back in. Are we dialing this thing back in, brother?
We'll
see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. All right, fuck it.
Yeah, let it go.
All right. So, Vern. Oh, before we dive right in, I like to always give you an update on some of the new ideas that I've come up with. We've talked about all the other ones: Stardust, CM Punk, early stages NXT, Godfather, Rey Mysterio, all those, right?
Yes, sir.
So I've come up with some other ones we've talked about as well. I think we talked about Pro Wrestling USA. I've never heard of that promotion before, and I would love to dive into Pro Wrestling USA. I think it ran for a year, trying to compete against Vince, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that where that?
I believe so.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. I heard it slightly on the Labs Fan. Shout out to the Labs Fan, and I'm like, I want to look into that. How Marty and Sean, how their journeys went after they parted ways at the barbershop window. That's one I want to do with you. I think that'll be fun. The Big Show, every time Big Show came out, I forget what year it is, but he was doing the copycat gimmick when he was just Shokishi, and all that good
showing
stuff.
The fact that he had range, I guess.
Yes, and that's probably what got him that Knucklehead movie, right? But
that movie.
I love it. Love Knucklehead. Love it.
Boy.
Classic.
Wow.
Okay.
Classic. That's a wow.
Classic. Heels. Breaking down the show Heels. Like, we just watch the show Heels and see.
I've never watched it, so I'd be into that, because I always tell myself I'm going to catch it, but I don't. Have you seen Iron Claw yet?
I have not.
I have not either. I
have
can,
not.
but I've yet to watch it.
Same. I'm waiting. I'm not in any rush.
Yeah, like I wanted to see it, but then I turned it on, and then I was just like, I don't know if I can handle this right now, and I turned it off because I was just like, I don't know if I want to be that sad. Like it's a sad. I know it's for television, it's for Hollywood, but still, it just makes me sad.
We know the ending. Like we know the ending.
You know what's so? I heard something the other day that really sparked my interest or got my mind going. If the Von Erichs were alive, they'd have been the same age as Hall and Nash. They'd have been around that same time.
Wow.
They would have been around like that same era of wrestling. They would have like been the same
Attitude Era, Carry, Texas Tornado.
All of them would have been the same age.
Oh, they probably would have been in WCW too. The South.
Ooh. Man, but you just think of guys like Hall and Nash who were from that era of wrestling who look what they became.
Right.
And they weren't even necessarily the biggest stars of that era.
They didn't have that kind of star power that time either. The Von Erichs were known, you know. So
imagine the Von Erichs would have stayed healthy, man. Those guys would have been like now. Wow, crazy though. Huh?
That's insane. Anyway, that's crazy to think about. Okay, a couple more. The Raw guest host era.
Yes, I caught glimpses. I know stuff about it. I remember I've heard like the Bob Barker and the Muppets and things.
There's some really good ones. There's some really good ones.
Hugh Jackman punching.
There's some really bad ones.
The wrestler, when the wrestler came out, what's his face?
Hugh Jackman punched Dolph Ziggler.
And
Mickey Rourke and Jericho. I thought was Mania.
Oh, I thought that was like a Raw. Okay,
I don't even remember. It could be either one. Who knows? Okay, what else we got? Mixed Match Challenge. Did you watch the Mixed Match Challenge? I can't even say that. It's like a tongue twister. Mixed Match Challenge.
Oh, that's when the guys and the girls were in a tag team and like that
they did it
tournament.
They did it twice. I didn't know they did it twice. I thought it was one long tournament.
I thought it was once.
I thought it was one long tournament. They did it twice, bro.
Okay.
And then I want to watch something that Chase shared with us the other day. WCW Festival de Lucha.
Yeah, I don't know.
I never got to see those.
Yeah, so I started watching it, but then I was like, all right, I'll save it. When you said one, watch it. So yeah, I'm in for that.
And I've got this one today. The Shotgun Saturday Night original concept / run from when I don't think it's a lot of episodes.
No,
but before they turned it into we're doing it before Raw or we're doing it before SmackDown.
Well, they started going to arenas instead of just
right. So I want to cover that and try and dig up.
Did you hear that on the Laps Fan when they were talking about how Paul Heyman helped to book the venues and stuff for them?
That is why I wanted to do the deep dive.
Yeah,
right,
wild.
Insane.
It was so wild.
All right, so now let's get on this train, Vern. You ready? You got your ticket? You ready for the ride? Let's hop on. We are going to SmackDown, but before we go to SmackDown, we've got to stop at Raw because before any of this goes down, Vern, we got to talk about why. I hear the Ring doorbell going. I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah, I just did.
You heard that, right?
Yeah.
That means the wife just got back from the gym. So we're going to talk about why we pretty much get this SmackDown 6 that everybody raves about.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in the spirit of competition, Paul Heyman becomes the writer for SmackDown as Guy Wirtz becomes the Raw writer. And Heyman makes some moves to get some certain players on his team. And he writes them well to the point where I always, that's what I call this. It's like a cult classic. People, only the real ones know about the SmackDown 6. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yes. Yes. Yeah, man. And it's one of those things. If you know, you know. But if you don't, it doesn't mean anything to you.
Right. So before we start, I'm just gonna go with who are we talking about when we say SmackDown 6? Of course,
educators, conductor.
Everybody knows Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman. I'm just gonna read what I copied and pasted here straight from Wikipedia. Paul Heyman, born September 11th, 1965, is an American professional wrestling manager, former promoter, and executive. He is currently signed to WWE, where he appears on the SmackDown brand as the special counsel for Roman Reigns. At this time, he is paired with Brock Lesnar, and we're going to see that unfold. I can't wait to get to all that. Player number 1 for Paul Heyman when he takes over in July, Kurt Angle, born December 9th, 1968, is an American retired pro wrestler and former collegiate wrestler who became a gold medalist in freestyle wrestling at the 1996 Olympic Games. He is currently signed to WWE on a Legends contract. I don't know how valid that is. This is Wikipedia. He is also known for his tenure in Total Nonstop Action, and that will be another journey, Perk Angle. But go ahead, what were you going to say?
You forgot to say he won the Olympic medal with a broken freaking neck.
You got to make sure you move your head when you say it too. Broken freaking neck. It's true.
Next here, player, buddy.
Kurt's so good. Next player, Edge. Adam Joseph Copeland, born October 30th, 1973, is a Canadian professional wrestler and actor. He is currently signed to All Elite Wrestling, AEW, where he performs under his real name, and is a former one-time AEW TNT champion. That's when I copied and pasted it. If I see it now, it will say he is the TNT champion because he just won the title a couple days ago, if I'm not mistaken. A week ago, if I'm not mistaken. Sure. Whatever. Edge, didn't he win the belt in that I Quit match?
Sir, his name is Adam Copeland.
Oh, I'm sorry, Adam Copeland.
Thank you.
So this guy, we're not talking about it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my fault. He is best known for his tenure.
That's his WWE. Dead name. All right, don't bring up his dead name. All right, don't dead name him.
His dead Fed name.
Yeah, don't bring up his dead Fed name. All right.
He is best known for his tenure in said Fed from 1998 to 2023, where he performed under the ring name Edge. All right, player number 3, Chris Benoit, Christopher Michael Benoit. It has born May 21st, 1967, my wife's birthday, 17 years earlier. Wow. To June 24th, 2007. May he rest in peace. Not many people would say that, but RIP to that man. Was a Canadian pro wrestler. He worked for various pro wrestling promotions during his 22-year career, including most notably the World Wrestling Federation / World Wrestling Entertainment, World Championship Wrestling, and Extreme Championship Wrestling in the United States of America, New Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan, and Stampede Wrestling in his native Canada. Anything about Benoit before I go?
You know, I'm willing to walk in here and let's observe him in the time and the place where he was at.
Not what is transpired, correct?
I'm willing to, as I said,
the wrestler.
I'm willing to take this and put it in its box and say I want to observe this in its time and its place and its context, and not necessarily read my personal feelings, etc., into the situation and etc.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on a Benoit? 02 Benoit?
I mean, so 02 Benoit, I didn't know he was like that, man. I had no idea. He was so aggressive and like really they were taking some bumps out there, but some weird times. I guess they tried to show some charisma out of him. Like,
yeah,
he cut a promo, and I was just
weird. It's not Chris. Benoit's never been a promo. It's been all of them about the ring.
Like the promo, it was like a promo. I saw a promo he did with like Stephanie, where they went back and forth with each other. And I was just like, ugh, this is not.
Who's forcing this out of you, huh?
Yeah.
Is there a gun? Is there a gun that pointed at you off camera?
It was like, what was it? It was like a match. I think it was that one show I saw that you were like, I must have clicked the wrong show.
It might have been.
It was like, but it was basically like Chris had to go fight Kurt or something for some reason, or somebody, and like she was like,
might have been in 01. Something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it was maybe
it was 01.
It was. She wanted Chris
Kurt. That sounds like something.
Yeah, she wanted Benoit to fight Kurt. It was before they went to the pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That was X7. Was that X7 or X8?
X7 is 2001.
Okay, so now maybe that's what it was. I was in the wrong year. Huh?
Yeah, you're in 2001.
Go figure.
Okay. Figs.
Anyway, but man, Benoit was a beast back then.
Yes,
so
he was. Sure.
I guess I missed out. I missed out on who he was. So
yes,
I'm excited to see where it goes with him.
So, oh my gosh, my dog ripped one. This is who I'm excited to really, really get into because what's crazy, I saw this man's career in the 90s when all I was allowed to watch was WCW on the weekends. And then once he got to really bubble after China, I became lapsed. So I'm talking about Eddie Guerrero, born Eduardo Gordy Guerrero Llanes, Llanes, Llanes.
Yeah. Giannis. You could say Giannis. The J sound.
Okay. October 9th, 1967 to November 13th, 2005, may he rest in peace, was an American professional wrestler. He was best known for his tenures in World Wrestling Entertainment and World Championship Wrestling. A prominent member of the Guerrero wrestling family, being the son of a first-generation wrestler, Gory Guerrero, he was widely considered to be one of the greatest and most influential professional wrestlers of all time. Talk to me. Real quick.
I, like you, I remember Eddie during this time because I remember when Eddie came back to the Indies.
Okay. And that's what I want you to also find in the sheets too when we get there.
I remember Eddie going to Ring of Honor. I remember Eddie working the Ring of Honor shows. I remember Eddie working Mid-South shows. I remember Eddie making the random appearances on the Indies because that's when I was lapsed with the Fed, but I was still watching wrestling on a snooty, I watch the Indies. I don't watch that mainstream stuff.
Yeah, you were that. So you were a sophisticated wrestling fan. I don't watch that, just the WWE.
Yes, I was.
Do you watch New Japan?
Huh. Correct. Huh. Yes, I was a discerning fan.
Yeah, you were.
So, I remember that. Right, I remember Eddie showing up and just thinking, "What the heck is Eddie Guerrero doing on the Indies?"
Right.
And so I'm excited to see the development of this character, to see what I missed out on. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's what I want to watch because, I mean, even late in the first part of the journey we're doing, I got to see Eddie cut a promo on a pay-per-view, and I'm like, man, I wish we were watching Raw because I would love to see. And then I saw something where him and Stone Cold had an interaction off-site at a bar that they did a promo, and he hit him with a bottle. And I'm like, where did that go?
Oh, I didn't
know. And then
that.
we know it didn't go anywhere. Oh. We'll get to see it because Chavo has a moment where he's watching it on film. And I was like, wow, that happened? I never even knew that happened. Eddie and Stone Cold, could you imagine that as a program? Like, why did they not ever go there? Because I've never heard of that program. So, but anyway, we'll move on to the fifth member of the SmackDown 6. It is who's that jumping out the sky? Rey Mysterio. Born Oscar Gutierrez Rubio, born December 11th, 1974. Better known by his ring name, Rey Mysterio, is an American professional wrestler. He's currently signed to WWE, where he performs on the SmackDown brand. That's all they got for him on that one. Your thoughts, sir?
I'm excited for Rey. I think Rey was the right place, right time. He's considered one of the greatest luchadors of the generation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
camera's bugging.
Let's get it, Rey. Show me what you got.
I remember vaguely this thing of Rey coming to the WWE. I think it piqued my interest enough for me to start watching a little bit again, but then I probably lost interest halfway through or once he debuted. Because this again is around the summertime of us graduating high school. So I think we were starting to slowly become laps because, wrestling's for kids. Remember that? And look at us now, 22 years later, talking about that time.
The irony of it all.
It's funny. All right, the last member, but not least. Let's not make it least, even though some people might think that way. Chavo Guerrero, born Salvador Guerrero on October 20th, 1970. Better known by his ring names Chavo Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero Jr., is an American professional wrestler. He is best known for his tenures in World Championship Wrestling, World Wrestling Federation Entertainment, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor, and Nacion Lucha Libre. What's that? NLL. Nacion Lucha Libre. NLL.
Off the top of my head, I'd be lying if
they must have made that up.
No. It's probably legit.
Well, I would say his greatest accomplishments right now is being like the fight coordinator for shows. Would you say? He
Chavo,
did Glow. He didn't he do it also for Young Rock as well, right?
He did it for Young Rock, for Glow. He did it for
I don't know what else. I know those two shows.
Something way more recent, actually.
Did he help in Heels? I don't know.
Dark Side of the Ring. He helped with Dark Side of the Ring. He helped on Heels.
When they do reenactments?
Yeah,
for
he helped on Dark Side. He helped on Heels.
Yeah. So I think that's probably his greatest accomplishment, to be honest. Because he was never like
because remember, as a matter of fact, it is Heels.
know?
Because remember Stephen Amell early on with he was involved with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
okay. All right, so So I got ice in my mouth. So those are our players. Paul Heyman in the 6. As of right now, where we're starting in our journey, a lot of them are not even around. So we're going to start, just to let you guys know, we're going to start in March of the year 2002, the year of our Lord 2002. We're going to start on the WWF Draft. Don't worry, the F will get out in a few months. But as of right now, it is the WWF Draft. And what we're trying to take us on, as well as everybody who's listening or watching, is how the drama unfolds. I pretty much want to say, we're going to watch the drama unfold on television. We'll talk about it. We'll watch some promos, but also, Vern, you've got the internet's eye with the Wrestling Observer. So you'll be able to give us hopefully a little bit of like, what's the word I want to call it? Gossip.
Sure.
Gossip of the time.
What's going on at the sheets? Yeah.
That's because that's what I figured would cover the best. Because I feel like our type of listener would like to benefit from that instead of just hearing our opinion constantly over and over. Hear somebody else's opinion, and then how we react on it would be amazing. Sorry, I got interrupted by the lady. Had to pass off the monitor. Boop boop boop. All right, so Vern. I know I asked you already, but are you ready?
Let's do it, brother.
So I'm looking here. It says here on my notes, Heyman signed a contract in February 2001 after ECW went under in April 2001. Now that doesn't make sense, right? He signed a contract with the E in February 2001 after the ECW went under in April. So he was already signed.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
That's always been the big secret about it. Like the secret everybody knew that Paul was making, Vince was paying Paul.
So now I asked myself, what is the reason for Paul Heyman in the Smackdown 6, right? And I look at it as, I told myself, it's initially used as a vehicle for the new SmackDown belts once Stephanie arrives and they need to split the brand and split the titles and all that.
Yep.
I said this time frame helped propel 5 of those 6 members further into the main event. Why all of this is happening was another question I asked myself. I said, McMahon wanted legit competition between his brands. We're on SmackDown after purchasing WCW. And then I have Gewurz as the head writer for Raw while Paul was given the keys on SmackDown. Did you happen to finish Gewurz's book?
No.
There's I would say an excerpt, but there's a part where he's talking about how when they did the draft and they noticed how the rosters got split up, Gewurz loved the guys on SmackDown that were there and wanted to write for SmackDown. And Paul, all of Paul's guys like Taker, Stone Cold, all those guys were all on Raw. So when they said we're going to have 2 writing teams, Vince told them we're going to have 2 writing teams, we're going to have 2 this. Everything's going to be split like it's 2 different companies. Okay. But sometimes some of you guys are still going to have to report for SmackDown. And so, yep, that's what he said. So Gewurz is thinking, I'm going to be the head writer for SmackDown. I get to write for Edge, Christian, Angle. We're going to have so much fun. Paul, and then Paul's assuming the same thing for Raw. So then they both get called into Vince's office and Vince tells them, okay, you're Paul, you're going to write for SmackDown. Brian, you're going to write for Raw. Both of them are absolutely livid, wanted do the other things. But the more you push back on Vince, the harder Vince pushes right back at you.
The more you tell him no, the more he's going to, okay, then that's a definite yes.
Correct. So Brian was like, he thinks it was just a way of Vince challenging them too. Because, it could have been easy to just hand them Edge, Christian, and do the things they've already done. Well, now let's see them do it with the people that they really don't want to work with. The guys that, like, Gewurz didn't get along with Stone Cold in some of the stories he was telling, that they didn't get along. Taker, he had Wrestler's Court, and he had to deal with Taker and all that. So, it's crazy how that worked out. But without that, we would not get this SmackDown 6 because then they made those trades. So, all right, let's head into it. Let's head to the draft. So we were live March 25th, 2002. First of all, shout out to the online world of wrestling.com. I want to make sure we give the flowers to the people who allow us to do what we're about to do for this show, because without all these extra websites and stuff like that, we'd be porked. We'd be like, I think this happened on this episode. Did it? I don't know. So the way they have this broken down is perfection. So on March 25th, 2002, in State College, Pennsylvania, Raw is War was live. We had announcers Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. Can I tell you, I really love Jerry Lawler in this era. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to why, but I really love Jerry Lawler in this era. Okay. So I want to start off, Vern. I think it'll be best if we just start off with how we get to where we're starting. So we're going to start off with Linda talking about what's exactly about to happen with this draft tonight. I think that's where we should start.
Yeah.
And because there's no better way to start this whole thing off with why
this draft, Lord.
And
the most serious, like unnecessary seriousness and gravitas brought to it. Oh no.
I'm back. Okay.
All right, cool. I just went, oh no.
Yeah. I'm about to say not again. All right. Are you here? Are you good? Okay. So, and listen, we don't need to be quiet. We can, that's why I said, this is going to be a different style. We're not going to sit here, be quiet, silent, muted, anything like that, Vern. If we got stuff to say, I'm not going to pause it. We're just going to go. We're just going to go and let it roll. All right. Like we're watching this in the living room on the couch. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
All right. You ready? Let's get it.
Ready.
Ahead from this, but post invasion, WCW purchase, ECW bankruptcy, this is such a crazy roster to look at.
Let's hang out with these guys versus hate them and try to run them off town. Let's work with them like they're part of us. Yeah, very bizarre.
Right, very bizarre, because for all this time we were told these two hate each other. It's like Biggie and Tupac beef. Like you either like WCW or you like WWE or WWF at the time. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, nah, they're working together. It's cool. Don't worry about it. And, it's the business, but still, it's like they could have done so much more. Okay, so I'm skipping ahead here till we need to get to our next spot. And I want to play the pick in the first draft. But before we get there, I want to just talk about what happens on the show, because we are not going to watch every single thing that happens.
Yeah, so that's one thing we want to put out. We're not doing full show recaps. We're not going to go blow by blow, and we're just going to talk about what we want to talk about from the show, nitpick some stuff, Vic stuck out, and that's about it, y'all. So if you want to hear a complete recap of every one of these shows, this is the wrong podcast.
No, absolutely no.
We're not.
And plus, we're only focusing on the guys that need to be focused on. But solely for this first show, we're covering a majority of it. But after this, once we get to the Smackdowns, it's who we're focused on, the guys of the Smackdown 6 and Paul Heyman. All right, so we were just talking about how Linda was kicking off. She said Steve Austin has a contractual obligation and he can't be drafted. That was, hey Vince, you better not put me in that draft crap. That's exactly what that was. I don't want to be a part of that crap, Vince. For sure. All right, so then there was Taz and Mr. Perfect. We had the visuals of the war rooms, which I thought was hilarious that they call them war rooms, because in the NFL, an NFL war room has like 12 to 15 dudes, phones everywhere.
They took the drafting like too far. It was like it's like I get what you're trying to go for, but like you're taking the analogy way further than necessary.
Oh my God.
No one thought a war room was necessary, or the graphics, or the timer, or we've got a call. They made their pick. It was like every time they did it, it was like, why are we being so overly dramatic about it?
So much nonsense. So the fact that for like the NFL, like I was saying, it's like a huge deal for a war room because there's a bunch of deliberation going on. Yeah. They show the war room. It's just them in like separate offices, and it's just them in the room with a bunch of files in front of them. I'm like, this is not a war room. This is just, you guys are the decision maker. Cut it out. Like, you're taking it way too far. Like you said, way too far.
Yeah, like you're overusing the analogy. You're hyper focusing on the analogy, but it's losing its meaning now because you're doing it too much.
Way too much. Way too far. All right, so let's jump here because there was a whole bunch of other things that went on. Like I said, Taz versus Mr. Perfect, but that has nothing to do with our story, and that goes nowhere because we're going to see what happens with Taz in a few months. So yeah, just a quick note that I see on here from OWW. It says on Vince McMahon's War Room, Vince heads towards the ring to make his first draft choice. And right before that, Rick and Arn discuss going into battle.
Yes.
With Vince McMahon. Going into battle. Like, bro, stop. You're picking wrestlers, all right? Yeah, it's like you're at a playground and going, I'll take him. I got him. You're not going into battle. Relax. All right, so are you ready to hear the first pick ever?
Oh, yeah.
In the WWF draft, the inaugural WWF draft. Let's listen to see who is the first pick overall. Member of our SmackDown 6. He's about to pop up.
Okay.
Let's see.
Kurt, all over every show.
Oh, Kurt, every show. We're gonna get to that. Kurt is on everything, brother. Kurt is on everything.
That right there, how Kurt's is in the cut, it's like that's a perfect example. That is Kurt. Kurt is always in the cut.
Kurt and Chris, once we get to SmackDowns, Chris Jericho as well. Oh my Lord. All right, so that was a pissed off Undertaker. Yep. Then we get to that match, which happens. It was Edge and Diamond Dallas Page versus Booker T and Christian. And this was just, again, another mixed bag tag team match that didn't progress any stories or anything like that. It's just matches to have for matches. But I think on this one, Vern, I was saying, was it the time? Because these matches were fast. But I think now that I'm looking back on
every match was like 4 minutes and under.
But I
only
think
the
it's
main
because
event will go 15.
I think they were saving the main event, but also I think on the draft, The Rock and Vince probably went too long. So stuff got cut for time. That's the only thing I can think of, because I'm like, some of these matches, I think I wrote it down in the tag match. Yeah, it's not even for this one. Okay, it says this tag match had the hot tag 3 minutes in. So we're going to get to there. We're not even at that. Actually, it could be this match, actually. It would make sense. It was a tag match. Yeah, it's the last tag match. So 3 minutes into this match between
they get it going.
Between Edge, DDP, and Booker T and Christian, they're already at the hot tag. Like, nope, we're going. Late in the match, DDP hits a diamond cutter on Booker. Christian breaks up the pin. Christian puts the unprettier on DDP. Booker hits DDP with a scissors kick. Booker pins DDP for the win. So Edge wasn't even involved in our finish. So that's why I said, again, we're just gonna move on there.
Can I ask you, how do you feel about DDP at this time? Wasn't DDP the weirdest character?
I didn't feel anything for DDP at all. I don't mean to sound rude when I say that too, but DDP was a WCW guy when he came in and he did the thing with Sarah and Undertaker, how he's a stalker. Nah. Immediately lost interest.
Wasn't it for you?
Give me jeans. Give me tape around the waist, DDP in the crowd. Bang. Give me that guy. The one that got over because he was for the people, like a real people's champion. Like he got over because the people got him over, made him over, that DDP, not the one you're like forcing a strange storyline with. Just one of those storylines that didn't work. Why a stalker storyline? Why? Randomly, DDP just stalks Undertaker's wife. What? What? Some stories don't need to be in wrestling, and that was one of them.
What about the motivational speaker thing he was doing?
It's me. That one is DDP.
Well, the motivation with him and Christian.
He had the microphone. He had the microphone, right? Yeah, I was not a fan, bro.
And like he's helping Christian out because Christian was doing the crybaby gimmick.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, sir. It's pretty bad.
Pretty abysmal times.
And yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and again, like I said, it's an interesting roster at this time, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm skipping through this match right now to find the next segment. Here it is. And just seeing Edge and Christian opposite of each other with DDP and Booker T in the ring together, it's a weird pairing to begin with.
Feels like universe mode.
Right. And we simmed like 3 years ahead, and you're like, okay, now these two are champs now. Like, what? Like, this is odd. All right, so I got another segment for us to watch there, Vernon. It's Angle. One more time. Our guy Angle. So this is why I said it's all about Angle pretty much for the majority of this journey, of this part of our journey. It's going to be a lot about Angle. So Angle again in the war room with Vincent
I've been
Kennedy.
having fun. I've been having fun with Kurt. I'm loving me some Kurt, man.
I love Kurt too. Yeah,
I didn't know he had. So I honestly don't remember him having this much personality.
Right.
I know where you're going with this. Okay,
we go back.
Yeah, it's already going. So it's
I didn't realize it until I started watching this. I was like, oh man, he was balding back then.
So it made sense that he was. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. All right. So Kurt should have been picked first. I wrote a note here, Vern. Why I said Kurt should have been picked first promo. Not all the picks were done in front of a live crowd, like in front of the podium. Why were picks done backstage? Like, what are we doing? I know it's entertainment, but you're calling it a war room. You're trying to be legitimate with drafting, but now it's just like, I'm going to pick guys backstage because, I'm Vince McMahon. Make it make sense, right?
A lot of this stuff was so the NWO thing,
yes.
It makes no sense. Why you would separate Hogan from the NWO? You literally were like, okay, I know, but it's just like a month in. They were a month in, and you separated Hogan. I don't want to relitigate this whole thing with you, but it's just so dumb how the NWO was dumb. In 1 month, Vince undid the NWO in 1 month.
Dude, I don't know who gave him the idea of even using the NWO.
Well, I mean, remember, it started off really cool, and it just
got poison thing was cool. I liked it
fast.
Yeah.
You know what's even sillier? Do you remember that before they joined, Ric Flair threatened to quit if the NWO came in just to prevent the poison? Flair was going to put his career on the line. Then how does it make sense? What happens next?
I don't know. I don't know, bro. I don't know. It. I would love for it to make sense, but it never does, brother. Okay, we got another Kurt promo with Vince.
Yeah, Kurt's all over that's my notes. One of my notes was Kurt's all over the show. Kurt is everywhere.
All over the show. So we're gonna watch Kurt one more time after the NWO was selected by Ric Flair. So in the notes from Online World of Wrestling, on stage, Flair says that he will work as hard as he can to bring Stone Cold to the Raw brand. And then he announced his second pick, the collective unit of the NWO. Just like you said, he said he was all set, wasn't going to be there just to stop the poison. And here he is selecting the NWO because he doesn't like Vince. Because I hate Vince so much, Vern. I hate you, Vince. I hate you so much. I'm going to pick the people I threatened to quit over. Yo, I love professional wrestling. I just want you to know that. I love professional wrestling because people get so angry about things not making sense. Like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm back here watching things in 02 like it's never made sense.
Never made sense.
It makes sense for the show. It makes sense for that day. And then trying to make it make sense any further than that, nah, you're porked. All right, so here we go, Vernie.
You know what this NWO was like?
What's that?
This NWO was like when you buy the rights to a gimmick and put it on someone else. But it's the same music.
Diesel and Razor Ramon.
That's what this is. This was legit. Like they bought the NWO rights and they got 3 guys to be the NWO. Oh. And then we all, after a month, we went, meh. Let's move on.
Reminded me of something I need to tell you about. I'm gonna put it into the private chat when we're done. Just remind me to tell you about that. Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So let's play this here. I see my bars. Well, that's the first time we hear Benoit mentioned in our journey. Mm-hmm. Where's Benoit this time? If you had to look at the Observer, if you know, do you see if Benoit they mentioned anything about Chris Benoit or anything like that?
Let's see.
He was injured or something like that, right?
Let's see. Flair Booker.
I think I got it. 1 second. In 2001, I believe. Hold on. Yes, when he was the Radicals and then teaming with Jericho.
Yeah, I would say Dave doesn't say anything about it.
All right, so I'll read this. Okay. Is this the Raw where Triple H tore both his quads? It says the next night on Raw's War, Benoit and Jericho defeated WWF Tag Team Champions Stone Cold and Triple H for their titles. The pair used the win as a springboard to challenge Austin for his WWF Championship. Benoit got 2 title matches the following week, first losing in a manner similar to the screw job in Calgary, and then losing in a close match in Benoit's hometown of Edmonton. Jesus. However, Benoit injured his neck in a four-way TLC match that required surgery with, why do I have the name of the neurosurgeon? With Dr. Lloyd Youngblood. Despite this, he continued to wrestle until the King of the Ring, where he was pinned in a triple threat match versus Austin and Jericho.
Because Youngblood's the name of the guy who does all the surgeries for the guys.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
He's like the it surgeon for that.
All right. So it said Benoit missed the next year due to his neck injury, missing the entire Invasion storyline. I didn't even realize that. He wasn't even there for that storyline.
Wow.
And that's funny. I'm looking at, because we're going to do, I believe we have that on our list, the Invasion storyline. Do you remember the cover of Invasion?
Wasn't it just like a V?
That was like the set, and I could have sworn somebody was going to fall down there through the V.
Yeah. All I remember is the V.
The cover was half Shane.
Oh, half Shane, half Vince. Yeah.
I get the Invasion is because Shane, but that other half should have been Bischoff. Bischoff.
It should have been Bischoff. But remember, Shane was, the contract says McMahon.
Yeah.
Just doesn't say Vince.
Right. Oh, I remember I went crazy for that. Okay, I'm sorry, sir. I have the frog in my throat. All right, where were we? We just saw Angle get screamed on by Vince McMahon, and then he selected Chris Benoit. And it's crazy because we don't see Benoit. We won't see Benoit for a while. After we even talk about him here, we won't see Benoit for a while.
Yeah.
All right, so sorry, we're gonna get back on this train. We're in the war room. Ric Flair does a promo with the NWO. Yeah, it's funny because the NWO came in. It says NWO is shown bullying Ric Flair. It says the NWO says they only listen to one person, Vince McMahon, and then Rick drafts Kane, and they just decide to leave.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't know where this promo was going.
I don't think they knew where this promo was going.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. So then Vince drafts Hollywood Hulk Hogan after the Ivory and Trish match, right? Rick chooses Rob Van Dam on the podium. Isn't that the part where he says, no, I think that's later on in the show where Vince tries to draft before Ric Flair?
I think so. Sounds familiar.
We're now getting another Kurt Angle, Vince McMahon interaction backstage that we got to find, good sir. So we had Ivory and Trish. Okay, boom. So Rob Van Dam is selected, right? We had, where am I? Boom. You okay, good sir?
Yes,
want to make sure you're breathing. So he chose Rob Van Dam, and then he's all ticked off about that, right? Of course. I'm just trying to find that timestamp.
I gave RVD a 75 power rating.
Why?
I have no idea. I was giving people power ratings. I have power rating numbers for people's names.
Power as like a rating in a video game or something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Billy and Chuck got a 72.
And RVD got a 75? You were being rude if Billy and Chuck got a 72.
Yo, bro, I have no idea.
Oh, okay. All right. Wrong one. Boom. Here we go. So here we are. Next time, stamp value already by booking himself in matches, convincing the boss to pick guys. Listen, talk to me about Kurt so far. Talk to me about Kurt, Vern.
So far, Kurt is all Kurt is right now is he's starting to show signs of this deep personality. But he's an animal. Oh
my God, dude.
Yo, Kurt,
we might have to watch this match with RVD.
Every Kurt match that he works, I'm always in because it's like,
yeah,
you're gonna see Kurt throw somebody in a way that's just like, why? Dude. Or Kurt's gonna freaking slap them. Kurt's gonna, Yo, Kurt Mark Henry. That's still one of my favorite matches. Is Kurt Mark Henry? Where Kurt did the chop block to Mark Henry's front of his leg, and I thought he broke Mark Henry's leg.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I know what you're talking about. Hold on there. I'm listening to you, but I'm just getting our next timestamp ready.
Get it.
Boom. Okay, so there was a bunch of different things that went along, and I thought I had the right timestamp, but apparently I didn't. Oh, here we go. Because there was a there's a video that plays that I don't know if you realize, the I Was There promo. Do you remember that one?
No.
I had wrote it down. It says the I Was There WWF, like it was like the commercial for you to start showing up at the house shows.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I was there.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it right now, but I'm struggling. Hold on. I think we skipped something here too. Again, the next time I do this, I'll have better timestamps than what I have right now, because right now, I think it's right here. Yes. All right, let me just go ahead here and get this ready. And it's funny because earlier I was listening to the Labs fan, and they were just like, "Oh, we'll just edit all this out." And they were trying to figure out something. It's like, "Yeah, we'll just edit all this out."
Oh, yeah. I was like, no, that was a bit though.
Yeah, it was all a bit. It was all a bit for their gimmick.
Yeah. Did you hear my name?
I haven't heard your name yet. I just started that episode yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they were talking about the Patreon there.
I'm breaking kayfabe. All right, we're back. I'm over here breaking kayfabe. All right, ready?
Done, but I mean, because I remember the video.
No, I muted it, so nobody got that audio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nobody got that audio. Here we go. Start on over.
Last night in the WWF,
I forgot I muted it to move it around like a DJ.
I was there.
The moments are waiting.
The moments are waiting, bro.
That's dope.
I just wanted to pop that. I'm about to say, did you get a little hit of nostalgia there when you seen that? I was there.
That's pretty cool.
I was there, bro. All right, boo. I'm just gonna go ahead. So Ric Flair is now gonna yap his mouth off after that. So we have here Vince Black. Nope, not there.
I wasn't a huge fan of this Flair Vince interactions.
Dude, this is where they're drafting from room to room, and they each pick a Dudley. I've the whole draft, watching it back, because I remember watching the draft, because as long as we were in high school, I was still watching Raw every night. So that's why I'm Monday. Like every Monday. That's why I'm not every night. Every Monday. I said every night. That's now. So it's like I remember being entertained by this as a 17-year-old, but sheesh, now 22 years later, not so much. Talk to me about that. Tell me what your thoughts of it 22 years later, bro.
Man, gosh, so much of this, okay, the length of the matches, right? They're super short.
Yeah.
But then the promos, a lot of the promos just sometimes leave me scratching my head going, what was the point of this? Like, you can see when they start to have interest in a guy, and so they start giving a guy personality spots, right? Like Mark Henry. And then you also see guys like Big Valboski that they're just parsley on the dish. They're garnish on the plate.
Parsley? You mean like the crumbs off the piece of chicken that's on the plate?
Bruh.
Bro, he's not even a proper garnish. Don't do
Lance Storm. Just they had so many names that were like
they get somewhere with him. No, they get somewhere with him towards the tail end of our first.
Yes, correct, with the Un-Americans, but
correct.
Like Kurt is definitely the center of this universe. Is Kurt Angle
as of right now? What we've watched
of right now, yeah,
it's all about Kurt.
And so I realized that, man, they put a lot of faith in this guy. For a guy who's this young in the business, they put a lot.
He was about, I think he was his fourth year in by 2000.
Oh, wow.
No, third year in 99. Kurt showed up, didn't he?
Correct.
So he was his third year in. He's already been the champ twice, like he said, won almost a shit ton of belts. So
bro, that's crazy.
They put the rocket ship on his back,
and it never turned off.
No, absolutely. So before I go into this clip. Talk to me about this guy that's on the screen right now, Vern. We're not going to talk about him at all. For the people audio that are listening audio, that they're going to get the video, the audio clips of these. Who are we talking about right now? Who's in front of you?
William Regal, the European champion.
Talk to me about your thoughts of Regal and O2.
Oh, this is the Darren that we read about in the books. It's the Darren that in my his autobiography. I loved reading about this time period.
This Darren's on drugs, isn't he?
Yep. This is when he was on what's it? Suboxone.
I can never say
that. Is that what it's? I thought it was like Suboxonil or Suboxone.
I can't remember. I can never say the name right.
But it's a deal that they used to drink and get high on. Yeah.
Right.
You'd be able to buy that stuff at GNC by the gallons.
And it's crazy because this is probably the best shape his body was in his entire career. But he was in probably the worst condition in his life, where he was almost dying. I remember reading that book. Yeah, and just like, my Lord, to think you don't know, as a fan, you don't know any of that stuff.
Nope.
But then you read these books to know, like, man, this guy was coming out here in front of thousands of people just any day now. He could have been done here. So yeah, anything you want to say about Regal? Anything else you want to say before we go?
Man, Regal is fun. What did Dave say about Regal? Dave said something about Regal that I thought was a fun comment.
About this, while you look for it, I'm gonna play this because this is going to be the debut of Brock Lesnar. So,
got it right here. Regal versus Page was a good match. Another great crowd. They need to tape more often in Canada because these crowds make a difference in matches like Regal Page, which would be solid in the US, but the dead crowds would make it seem bad. Like Dave's like knows
but that's actually a decent take.
Correct, because Dave.
What happened to that Dave?
Dave's a work rate guy, and even back then, right? Dave found an intelligent way to talk about work rate without saying work rate's low. I want more work rate.
Right, but what happened to that guy? What happened to him? That's not the Dave we have nowadays.
The Dave we have now is motivated by something else.
Yeah, TK's paycheck. Moving on. Absolute unit. Look at that absolute unit right there,
young raw Brock is insane.
And it's what's nuts about it is you could see there that he's got it.
Yeah.
You can see it, just his movement, like
he picked up Rikishi like it was nothing.
Nothing.
Effortless.
Like Rikishi ain't like 350. Easy 350.
Yo, threw him over his shoulder, flat bump. That was beautiful.
Like Brock, absolutely incredible. We get to see Paul E. So say hi to Paul. Paul has joined our wonderful story. And Brock Lesnar this is cool. This is one thing I like about where we are right now in this journey. Because as the SmackDown 6 is about to form, we're also going to get to see the debut of I'm going to call them the OVW 4.
Yep.
Of Cena, Orton, Batista, and Lesnar. All four of these guys, we're going to see them all debut shortly. And I didn't even realize that these guys if I just stuck with the product as a 17-year-old during that summer, I probably still would have had interest in the WWF. But then with Stone Cold gone in June, right before we graduate, The Rock wasn't really there already. You know what I mean? Because he was starting to do the movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. It was like, nah, I don't want to watch this. As a 17-year-old, like, nah, screw this.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Right. But now it's like, man, look what I missed out on.
For reals.
Right. Like, if I seen this dude show up and do that at Rikishi day one, like, I'm tuning in to watch this beast again. But go ahead. Any of your thoughts on it?
No, sir. Go ahead. Nah, you're good.
Yeah, let's let this play out. I don't know if it.
What is this about?
Okay, yeah, that's where it ended. Perfect. All right, so we're gonna move on, my man, to the next one. So, Intercontinental title match is gonna be coming up soon. This is where Brock Lesnar is selected by Flair on Raw when Vince tried to draft him, and then Vince, Flair was like, "It's my turn to select." I do want to play a part because I think these are the last picks of the draft before we get to actual wrestling, because they only really gave you 2 full wrestling matches. One of them being Angle and RVD, and then being the triple threat title match.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's move on, sir. I believe it's here. I just want to get to the part where he's talking about Lita. 1 second. That's right. He selected. Disappearing on me. So while Vern is disappearing again, I don't know where he went. I'm going to talk about some of the things that just transpired as I was moving ahead. So we had a WWF New York moment. If you guys don't remember, WWF New York was the restaurant in Times Square. Yes, I'll do. No, it's fine. We'll do this. Was a restaurant in Times Square for a few years, and let's see, WWF New York, which was then changed to WWE New York, which was then changed to The World, I believe. So it was a restaurant for 4 years. Okay, Vern's back. You remember The World, also known as WWF New York?
How could I forget?
Right. I was just talking about the promo that Jazz cut in front of that crowd, where she was talking about she's going to be that bitch in the WWF Women's Division.
How over were they that they could do that? They could command the crowd to come here. Jazz talk some talk
at a restaurant, literally at a glorified Hard Rock Cafe. He literally made his own Hard Rock Cafe, bro. Like, stop it. I wonder how the food was at WWF New York. If anybody like. Who is the people that went to WWF New York to eat, or the world to eat? Like,
tours.
Right. Like people who are tourists and fans of wrestling, right? Like because we were in New York. We're New Yorkers. We don't live in New York. Well, you live in that area now, but we don't. Where we were from, you don't go to Times Square. We don't go to Times Square. I've been to Times Square twice because we went to Jersey first and we were bored, so we're like, let's just go to Times Square. It was late, but you don't. New Yorkers don't go there. Like New Yorkers don't go to watch the ball drop. We don't do that. Those are people from other countries that go there. I don't think people understand that. People think it's a bunch of New Yorkers standing in the freezing cold waiting to watch this mechanical ball drop. Nah, bro. We in the house. We're in the house while those tourists are freezing their cheeks off. So yeah, WWF New York. She's trash talking all the divas. And then we get to Vince trying to pick Lesnar, and then Flair picks him. Then Vince picks Mark Henry. Rick then selects European champion William Regal. And then, Regal gets all pissed off about that because he wanted to work for Vince. So Vince picks the hardcore champion, Maven.
This was so weird.
Vince picks the hardcore champion.
Okay, wait. Maven. Before we even got too deep in this whole thing.
Okay.
There is so much Maven every single freaking show.
There's
Maven Al Snow every single show. Maven Al Snow. Then Raven, when Raven shows up, it's like, oh my God, why?
Okay, so I just want to say this one thing on Maven, and this is why I love Jerry Lawler so much. I wrote this down. Now I don't remember exactly when he said this. It had to be earlier in the day and earlier in the show in the draft, but I wrote it down because it made me giggle. It made me giggle so hard. So Lawler's talking about Maven, and he says, I guarantee you this is the guy Ric Flair will draft. So Jim goes, what's wrong with that? Lawler goes, he's got the future of an ice cube. Pops me every time. Because you know how Lawler delivers it. He's got the future of an ice cube, just nonchalant about it. I was like, wait, what? So now, and as I wrote that, I put check Maven's career after this episode. So I was keeping a close eye. I don't have to check because he's all over the screen. Whether they pit him with Tori or, again, we'll get there. We'll get there. Sidebars. Hopefully we'll get there. All right. So let me just make sure. Again, we were at the World, right? It's all the clicking back and forth through pages. That's why I keep having to remember where I'm at. Okay, then I wanted to do this segment here where Vince is going to talk about how much of a pervert Ric Flair is. All right, you ready? It's funny. It's funny. Oh my God. This is why I love what we're doing now, Vern, because it's funny hearing Vince talk like this right now. And then what we see happen on SmackDown for the next 3 months.
He turned
like
Smackdown into softcore porn, bro. Every time he was on the screen.
This is what makes this so great, bro. This is what makes this so cold. I just wanted to point out the deviant line as we're about to get into. That's my new name for him, DV, Deviant Vince. Vince is about to go in, and we're about to see it all, bro. So that's what I wanted to point out. So Vern, tell me about Deviant Vince before I ask you what I'm going to ask you. Tell me about Deviant Vince.
I'll tell you about Deviant Vince. Tell you what about, like, every time I see him on
Don't
screen.
Don't go too far. Don't go too far, though. Don't go
You know what? All I'm saying, Deviant Vince, is that Vince was not hiding the fact that he likes to be this aggressive, like rapey, dominating character in just the grossest ways, man. Stuff that you're like, all right, HR needs to get on the phone with this guy. What is wrong with you?
Dude? Oh my God. If he was anything but the boss of the company, he would have been fired. If he was anything else, he would have been, well, 22 years later, here we are, right? All right, so Vern, I think to end off the draft and then kick off the rest of this, because I think this is going to be the longest we stay on one show. Every other time, we're going to go pretty quickly. We're going to talk about it and go. But I wanted to cover the draft so we can get a good feel of what we're about to become.
Sure.
What do you think of watching Kurt Angle versus RVD in this match for the draft? Do you think we should sit here and watch this? What do you think?
Well, I mean, it just, I guess, honestly, it depends in terms of, I mean, so we're almost at an hour and a half on the first episode.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you figure, because in my mind, I'm like, I guess, how long of installments do we want to do on these? You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. I totally hear you. That's why I was asking.
That's the only thing. So if there's one match I'd want to watch, it's probably it's that one Booker T. No, excuse me, that one Mark Henry Kurt Angle match. Mark Henry Kurt Angle. I feel like that was a dark horse match that you would never think to watch. That I was like, Kurt made Mark, because I was legit like, oh, Mark about to beat Kurt.
I've got to find what episode that is, but that's
I got you. I will find that episode.
All right,
that's a match that I would say, Brody, that's one I feel like we should watch, because that's the one that I remember I told you when I seen it, I popped to the moon. And I was like, Randy, you have to see this match.
All right, absolutely. All right, so I'll talk
not
about
to dissuade from the match, not to dissuade from this match. I'm just saying I feel like this is a match that, all right, who wouldn't want to watch Kurt Angle versus
right. That's why I put it. That's why I asked. But anyway, I could read through it. Kurt goes right after RVD and hits him with a German suplex. Later, RVD jumps off the top rope to kick Angle. Angle pulls the referee in the way. RVD kicks the referee. Ref bump. Angle puts the ankle lock on RVD. The referee calls for the bell, and out comes Edge as he runs down and attacks Kurt Angle. Edge spears Angle. This guy counted 7 referees pull Edge off of Angle. So we have this pull apart, and this is where we're going to continue our Edge and Angle feud that leads to what it leads to. Then we got an interview. Michael Cole and Stephanie McMahon. Steph looks as good as ever, but sounds as bad as ever. What a note. Cole asks Steph about possibly leading WWF. Steph says not to worry about that because tonight she's going to become the first woman WWF champion. Then we have our triple threat match. Wow. Then we have our triple threat match. I hit the hell out of my headsets. And Triple H and Y2J. Do you remember this match on the draft? It's like, okay, I get where we were trying to go here, but this shouldn't have been here at this show.
Not at this show, no.
It should have been RVD and Angle at main event.
And just let them cook.
Right, because this felt the world title scene. We'll talk about that in a second too, because it's the undisputed title and all that. It very.
Do you know how long that match was, Van Dam Angle?
How much?
2 minutes and 55 seconds.
Van Dam and Angle.
Van Dam and Angle. Van Dam beat Angle via DQ in 2:55,
and it was fantastic. That's why I asked if we watch it.
You want to watch it? It's only 2:55.
We'll skip through. It's fine. I already explained. I explained the whole match in a minute and 5. All right. So,
what the triple threat thing? The triple threat thing was like, again, Chris Jericho being forced into the main event, being forced into. He's a star. Look, see, he's a star. This is why I can't stand it.
Yeah. It was just the whole idea of the triple threat was just, but with Stephanie involved, she just kept bumping and getting out of the way. I was just all set. I was all set when I was watching.
Did you notice in the finish that Triple H didn't use the pedigree to win? He used the spine buster.
Yes.
Weird, right?
Yeah. Maybe because that looks more devastating on a girl. I don't know.
I thought it was interesting that he didn't do the pedigree. That he didn't pedigree her.
That was the bump Stephanie felt comfortable with, landing flat on her back instead of.
I guess, yeah. But I'm saying I think it's interesting though.
Oh, you dropped somebody on their head, babe. That wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault.
I'm just saying I think it's really interesting because the crowd seemed kind of deflated. You don't think the crowd seemed kind of like, oh,
it's over. Okay,
yeah.
Oh, Triple H won. Yeah,
correct. Okay. I think if he'd have hit her with the pedigree, that crowd would have lost their mind.
Yeah. I think that match shouldn't have happened anyway, but
yeah, well, the stipulation was stupid, but
dumb, whatever. Just dumb. Yeah. All right. So among the people that were drafted, Billy Kidman, Bradshaw, Tajiri, Steven Richards. Jericho wasn't even drafted on TV. I just realized that. Jericho wasn't even drafted on television. Matt Hardy, Ivory, Raven,
obsessed.
Albert, Hardy, they're the Hardy, Hurricane, Perfect, Snow, Spike Dudley, Lance Storm, D'Lo Brown, Dallas Page, Sean Stasiak, Tori Wilson, Terry, Scotty Too Hottie, Jacqueline, Stacy Keibler, Goldust, Christian, Trish Stratus, Test, Just Incredible, Jesus, and I'm drinking water. Farouk, Big Boss Man, Taz, Tommy Dreamer, Hardcore Holly, Crash Holly, Val Venus, Mighty Molly, and Perry Saturn. Perry Saturn is Mr. Irrelevant, good sir, if you were wondering. Perry Saturn, Mr. Irrelevant. All right, so that was the WWF Draft. Let's jump immediately and let's go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Our announcers are Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler on the 328 edition of Smackdown. It is the first Smackdown that we are going to cover. We're going to cover Smackdown from March 28th all the way to July 18th, up to the Vengeance pay-per-view on July 21st, I believe, right before Paul does the takeover. I wanted to do this so we can see exactly how SmackDown was being written 90 days prior to Paul taking over. And I say this, Vern, this sucks. It's oof. It was a rough 16 episodes. Let's just start off. Let's just go immediately. My first note, I said, OMG, the Beautiful People theme. I was like, oh crap, this is awesome. I get to hear this every week.
Yeah.
Because I love that theme from SmackDown. I don't know. What was your first thought when you started SmackDown? Do you have any notes there?
My opening thing is Brock is a stud. That's the first thing I wrote is Brock is a stud.
I got a note that says Cole said it's the last SmackDown as we know it, as they were starting to get the whole draft thing rolling, right?
Yes,
so here we go. The first match was Diamond Dallas Page versus Booker T. DDP was knocked Booker from the ring. DDP then turned around to see Brock Lesnar standing in front of him. At Paul Heyman's command, Lesnar downed DDP with a number of power moves. Lesnar and Heyman celebrated after the demolition. Another strong appearance from your boy, Brockamus Lesnaris.
Super strong.
Dude, a straight bull. Every time you see him in this early stages, a straight bull.
He just grabs somebody to throw him.
And you just see the traps and the shoulders. That was it. S5's here, F5's there. Can I really drink some water? Hold on. Excuse me. Of course, I unmuted right when I burped. Okay. Where we at here? All right, we're back here. March 28th, we have in the ring, we got Kurt Angle, Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Ric Flair. I don't know if you remember what this leads to. Do you remember what this leads to?
Oh, the tag match. The tag match was awful.
Can you, if you could find in the sheets for us or anything interesting there about who exactly was writing on SmackDown? I think it was Gewurz at the time. Was the head writer for SmackDown as well. Well, him and Vince were, back and forth all together. If not, or anything that you see.
I think Stephanie's the head of creative actually at this point. She's one of the head writers.
Okay. Because the amount of tag team matches we are about to go through It's insane because when I'm watching it, because it starts off as Kurt Angle doing like a Stephanie appreciation, right? And as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, this puts, as I write the note, it puts Kurt in a position to work with Triple H because I don't know what's about to happen next. I don't remember watching any of this. So I'm thinking, oh, we're going to get Kurt and Triple H for the title because, you know, that kind of makes sense how this is going. And then Flair then makes that tag match where it's him and Angle. I mean, it's him and Flair, him and Triple H against Vince and Kurt Angle. And I'm just like, what? And this turned out being like that long 20-minute start of the show promo. It's like, oh my Lord. It's like, why does it need to? I mean, and I'm looking at the notes. There's at least 20 notes about this promo. Angle show the fans to show Stephanie's reporter and beat the respect out of him. Kurt then headed to the outside of the ring until suddenly came Vince McMahon. Mr. McMahon started to the ring and said that when you desecrate his daughter's name, you desecrate his name. It's like, oh my Lord. Remember, you desecrate my name. Like,
yes.
And then Triple H came out and all this. Yeah, I'm not reading all those notes. I'm not reading all those notes, bro. I'll just tell you that right now. Okay. We also got the end of the APA. What you think of that? Did you have that notes?
On yours? Sad. That was like, I was like, oh, I was like, I can't believe we got into there. I can't believe this is and that's how the APA, like this was the final episode. I was shocked about that.
They closed their doors, man. I put nice touch on them closing the door and we're closed and all that. I liked all of that. I liked how we went from like they did that whole brawling scene and all that. It was cool. It was a cool moment for APA. And for something that was so fun to watch during the Attitude Era, to see it like come to an end as we're seeing the new OVW guys getting ushered in. It's like, oh man, it's the change of the guard. I loved all that. Let's see here. Backstage Dudley Boys. Billy and Chuck. Billy and Chuck is our tag team champions, Vern. How much you loving that?
I hate them. I hate Billy and Chuck so much. I hate Billy and Chuck with a fiery passion.
Billy and Chuck defeated the Dudley Boys in the last match as them as a team in this era.
Do you know what the SmackDown show is though, right? It's the debut of their manager.
Rico? No, it's not the debut.
Yeah.
Is it?
Meltzer's notes, let me see. Meltzer's notes, he has Rico Constantino debuted in the dead role as Billy and Chuck's stylist. He's got a haircut and looks like a completely different person. Billy and Chuck are wearing new colors. No more Hogan and red and yellow for these guys. Constantino, as mentioned before, was a guy heavily pushed for sometime as being ready for WWF by both Les Thatcher and Jim Cornette, which led to Jim Ross going to bat for him. However, the writing team was never interested. Ross pushed so hard that they gave him a role, albeit an effeminate role.
Oh my God. Hold on, dude. Look at this 8x10 from 2,000 of them. I've never seen this. When you said
Rico Constantino.
Yeah, but when you said that and they said he cut his hair, he looked completely different. Check him out.
Yeah, dude. Always a whole other world.
Holy moly. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. Go ahead. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No. So that was Dave's notes on Rico Constantino. I just wanted to throw it out there that this was his according to Dave, this is when he got out.
Yeah, insane. I had no idea. I thought he was the way it looked like on television that he was already a part of the team. That's why I was like, oh, okay. That's why I wasn't sure. I thought
I'm just looking through all the notes for this, like what's happening this week in wrestling. Dave's got a few notes of some stuff. Do you want to hear some stuff of what's happening this week in wrestling?
What you got?
In terms of backstage dirt, Ross report notes for the week. Triple H's bad leg is very sore coming off of Mania. Farouk has a loosened tooth. Regal strained his shoulder but is still working. Benoit heads to Cincinnati on April 1st to start light workouts in the ring. Mm-hmm. Targeting mid to late May for his return. Targeting early April for Mike Awesome. They're targeting early April for Mike Awesome.
The E? At that time?
I didn't know that.
Early April. That never happened.
Well, it's like I told you the Horace Hogan one. Horace Hogan got signed to the HWA.
Yeah.
They signed him because of Hulk.
Horace Hogan.
They figure about 3 more months before Rhino returns. Maven has a sore elbow and chronic left knee pain, but it's working through it. They figure Canyon being about 6 weeks away from being able to return. Charlie Haas should be able to be back in July. Eddie Fatu of the Island Boys has been on crutches with a deep calf bruise. Mark Jindrak had his knee scoped, and he will be out for a month. Here's an interesting one.
Eddie Fatu Zumaga. Eddie Fatu Zumaga. Okay.
Do you remember
I'm trying to
this
figure
one?
out which one.
Do you remember this
Rosie
one?
Then, right? What's up?
Eric Engel, latest arm surgery, went well, and he's 3 months away from being able to do unrestricted weights.
Who?
Eric Engel, Kurt's brother, got hurt at the Performance Center, caught like a staph infection, almost lost his arm.
What?
Yeah, and so I'm pretty positive that's who it is. Yeah, Kurt's brother, Eric Engel. You never heard his story? Yeah, he had this like tragic. He was like a tragic story of almost like could have been something. They said he had a spark of something, and just misfortune just ruined it.
Huh? I had no idea.
Oh, bro, the Eric Engel story. That's why when I seen it, I was like, oh man, Eric Engel's
In November 2002, he appeared in a few house shows. He shows up in 2003. I remember it was he showed up as the lead up for him and Kurt, for Lesnar and Kurt.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Wow. That's funny hearing about the Eric Engel thing. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Black man is suffering from devastating migraine headaches which are career threatening.
Mm-hmm.
Lita will appear in the season finale of the Dark Angel episode on Fox. Rock will be doing much more media with the release
What
of Scorpion
show is
King.
that? Dark Angel?
You
say these things, I start Googling immediately.
And it will be impossible to keep up with, including Vanity Fair, Stuff, Regis, Craig Kilborn, Stern, Leno, Entertainment Tonight, TRL. Wow, TRL.
Can I tell you something? Hold on, before you keep going. Apparently, a role on Dark Angel led to a massive injury that nearly paralyzed Lita.
Huh?
This came out December 5th, 2022. It's a show that starred Jessica Alba as a super soldier fleeing from the government in a post-apocalyptic world. What the fuck is that?
And there we go.
During filming, Lita's work with stunt doubles took a turn for the worse while performing her signature Hurricane Rana move. She was unable to execute full rotation when swinging around and ended up landing awkwardly on her neck. Working with these greenhorns, working with these yardies. X-rays revealed that she had cracked 3 vertebrae from the impact, forcing her to take an indefinite break from the ring. What?
Damn.
What?
Oh, so that's why she never came back.
What?
Wait. Are you saying wait? Oh, no,
that happened in 2002.
In 2002. So is this why she never came back here in the last run? Because she has a bad neck?
Maybe.
I've never heard of that before, bro.
Or maybe because she ain't got it no more. That's got to be it, brother. Because it ain't the last time she was out here. Neck injury and return. April 6th, she suffered a stinger filming a fight scene. Hurricane Rana, the stunt double, dropped her on her head. CAT scans, three cracks in a vertebrae. Who would have known we would have stumbled upon this? Dr. Lord, here's Youngblood again. Used a section of her hip to fuse her C5 and her C6 together. Oh, wow. She started doing Sunday Night Heat color commentary. During her time recovering, Matt and Jeff split, thus ending Team Extreme. Jeff would leave the WWE, and Matt would move to SmackDown. I thought that's when he became V1. Am I bugging?
Yep.
And then when he became V1 in 03?
And that's in 03. Oh, I was watching 03.
You were watching 03. Yeah, you were watching 03. Okay, where were we? Because that just took us on a... I think we were about to wrap up this episode. No, that's great. That's the stuff I was telling you about, because look how it just took us somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, and just to close it out. And last thing here is Jericho and his band Fozzy will be playing at 4-5 at WWF New York. April 5th, WWF New York. They'll be there.
They did the show there. They did a show there. I'm with you. You're going? I'm showing up. That's in a week. 4-5. Yeah. Right before Mania. They're going to perform at the World?
Yep.
Get your tickets, brother. Then we're going to shoot down to Philly and we're going to go watch WrestleMania 40. All right. So my last note for this episode, it says Vince McMahon, most awkward wrestler ever. His movements, just watching Vince is painful. Just
Vince
watching
is
him do anything.
Turkey in the ring.
Oh, I was commenting probably on the tag match. Yeah, more than likely. But this is one of. Can you keep a tally for me?
What's up?
Just a ticker of how many times Kurt Angle is involved in a tag match with a partner that has nothing really to do with his story, but they just intertwine. This is one so far. Okay. We're going to move on right along. We're going to go to the four episode of Smackdown. Are you ready, Vern? We're moving on.
Yes, sir.
4 episode of Smackdown. Let me get this here. Oh, hold on. Oh, these are Raws. I'm like, wait, what? Hold on a second. Let me go here, and then I will go to here. Back to here. Yeah, I'm going to have more tabs next time because clicking through all these is a pain. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, boom, we're heading to SmackDown. We're going to go to the 328 edition. Oh, my gosh. This picture of Stephanie. Lord. The one where she looks like super somber in the face. I don't know if you saw that one. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
She's got that real big sourpuss look on her face. I wish you could see it now, but I'd be breaking kayfabe, and we don't do that here. All right, so the 4 episode of Smackdown was at the Blue Cross Arena in Rochester, New York. Our announcers again were Michael Cole and Taz this time around. So Taz being the draft pick, which you thought was going to be a worker, 2 weeks later is now the
just another announcer.
Why'd you do that? That's mean. You said you got some Taz tidbits, right? Because all I wrote was cringe Miami Vice joke.
This is let me see if I did take any notes on here. Because Taz, like I told you, Taz, one of the reasons why I had to just turn the volume down because I just couldn't take him anymore.
I just want to see if I can do it. I did before.
No. I started talking about more of the show. I didn't really talk about
I'm gonna get it. Oh, wait. Hold on a second. Am I on the wrong episode? Yes, I am. You idiot. We're on the 4-4 edition. I'm on 328. Here we go. 4-4 edition. I'm like, wait, that's Jerry Lawler. That doesn't make any sense. But yes. Okay, boom. Here we go. Boom. And so I didn't even realize this. To start off the 4-4 episode where like Vince is like the boss of SmackDown, he starts the show. Vince kicks off the show immediately.
Yeah.
It says Vince says he will announce the number one contender for the WWF title tonight. New SmackDown opening, no new set, no new theme music. The only thing that changed was the opening. I'm going to skip ahead. I just want to get to where. Did I pass it? No, the fireworks. Hold on. You know what else was always a big bother for me in this era? Michael Cole. Michael Cole is really loud and his voice is very high pitched, and it seems like his vein is going to pop out the side of his neck when he's talking in the beginning. Michael,
they yell unnecessarily.
Yes.
Or Taz, who will out of nowhere take the side of the heel, but like the most unnatural. Wait, what do you mean he broke the rules? I don't think he broke the rules. I think he did a good job.
Right.
And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right. So I'm trying to find a joke, but I couldn't. It was so cringe. I didn't even do a timestamp. But anyway, the show starts off with our guy, Kurt Angle. Once again, Vern. It's going to be a whole lot of Kurt. It'll be Kurt, Jericho, and The Rock, because The Rock's music hits here. Angle is I'll read these notes real quick. Angle assumes Vince will choose him to get the title shot at Backlash. Angle begins to list reasons why he should be getting the shot at Triple H. At reason number 5, Chris Jericho's music hits, and out comes Y2J. Jericho says that if anyone deserves a title shot, it's him. Jericho tells the crowd that he is not a has-been. Jericho and Angle agree to wrestle tonight for the title shot. Just then,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but he was trying so hard.
Yep.
To like, don't call me a has-been. Don't call me a has-been.
Yeah.
Do not chant Has been. It was like, okay. Enough of the indie work, brother.
Yeah, seriously.
Go ahead.
So we have here just then the rock music hits. The Rock comes to the stage. The crowd chants for Rocky. Finally, the Rock has come back to Rochester, right? Rock tells Angle and Jericho that nobody deserves a title shot more than the Rock. Rock pauses. The Rock says, maybe there is someone else. Rock suggests that Hollywood Hulk Hogan deserves the WWF title shot. Jericho and Angle both protest the idea. Rock reminds Jericho and Angle that this is a new Smackdown. Rock says that from now on, Smackdown will be known as the People Show.
Yeah. I have in my notes, Rocky endorsing Hogan is wild.
Weird. Rock says that the people should tell everyone who they want to get the title shot. Rock counts to 3 and the crowd chants, Hogan, Hogan, Hogan. It's very weird. It's almost like when Cody did it recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very random. Let's see. We're moving on. And like I said, with these SmackDown episodes, we're only going to focus on when our guys are on. And that's that guy's name, Mark Lloyd, the backstage interviewer. Absolutely terrible.
Lord.
Has to be one of the worst
guys. Those guys, I'm like, who's this guy?
Yeah, Mark Lloyd is absolutely awful. I just found out his name not too long ago. Awful. Awful. Chris Jericho, Rock. We got DDP versus Christian on the show. Okay. This is one clip I did want to play. It is Kurt Angle and Edge. This is the first time we see both of our guys here. And this is why I'm thinking this feels like a Gewurz promo when I get to it. Because let me just make sure. Yeah, because just the way it's written, once you see it, you'll be like, oh, I can see what you mean. Just the way the whole promo pans out, where Kurt Angle and Edge, he's showing them old pictures from when they were friends. Does that one ring a bell?
Oh, yeah. And he has the I'm stupid and stuff right on the back of it.
Yes. We're going to get there right now. Okay. Are you ready, good sir? You ready for some more laughs? You ready to giggle your face off?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Great work from Angle. Talk to me about that promo real quick.
Bro, Kurt made Edge. I never realized it. I didn't know it, but man, Kurt made Edge. Like their interactions
together. Yeah. Even when Kurt and ENC were a tag team and they were doing stuff together. Absolutely. Go ahead, continue. I don't want to cut you off.
No, like I didn't know Kurt Angle was a kingmaker like this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I always hear Prof and Shay talk about it, but seeing with my own eyes and like being like, wow, dude, you put him in anything, he was gonna do well.
He made it work.
The guy does comedy.
Made it work, bro.
He's not been in the business long enough to be this good.
Right. He's not supposed to be that good at that soon.
Kurt was a freak of nature.
Yeah. What I like to call them now, unicorns. He's a unicorn. You're not gonna find many Kurt Angles. A guy who's amateur wrestling background comes in, immediately gets it, can hang with the best of them that have been doing it for years, and then has the chops to even be funny as an actor. I mean, even to this day, with his TikToks, he's hilarious. His reels, TikToks, whatever you want to call them, his short form content. I don't know if you've seen one. He was doing one with his daughter recently to the song that's popular on TikTok. It's something about her coming home from wrestling practice. He's got medals around his neck with 2.5 gallons of milk, and she comes off a golf cart with 2 gold medals and her wrestling singlet, and they're dancing together. It's fun. It's hilarious. But Kurt still gets comedy at this time in this day and age.
It's good to see Kurt having fun.
Exactly.
Kurt's one of the boys who I'm glad he figured it out.
Right. All right. Speaking of Kurt and the boys, we're going to talk about 2 of our players, Edge and Kurt Angle. Now we're going to be talking about Edge and Kurt Angle a lot during our episodes. Edge and Kurt Angle are all over this first half of the leg. So they had a match tonight on Smackdown. It was Edge and Angle. Edge locks Angle into the ropes and spears him twice. Angle goes outside the ring and gets a steel chair. The 2 men battle it out for a minute. Edge tries to spear Angle, but Angle holds the chair in the way.
What a spot. That spot was crazy.
Angle. Yes. Angle tries to follow up with chair shots, but the ref stops him. Angle retreats as Edge gets to his knees. Yes, I remember that. I'm not going to sit here and try and find it in the match now. Forget that.
Bruh,
It'll take forever.
Did you remember Edge using the spear this far back?
No.
Me either.
Okay. So I always thought he started it when he came back from injury, when him and Jericho were teammates. And he started using the spear then.
When he changed the song. When he started using Dragula.
On this day, yes. I thought.
No, not on this day. I'm talking about Dragula, the one with the Rob Zombie one. The one before the On This Day, the first one that he had.
I don't remember it. I don't remember it.
Bum, 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 bum. That sounds like, yes, you do.
That sounds like On This Day I see clearly everything has come to life.
What?
In a broken dream. Sorry. All right. I believe the rest of this show doesn't involve our guys.
E6 used it as his theme song. That's how I know it's old, because E6 used it.
E6. I'm done. So Kurt Angle gets involved one more time towards the tail end of the show. Do I have that? Yes, they're involved in the main event. So our main event of the evening was The Rock and Chris Jericho. This guy wrote very good. And if you have any notes or anything from here, let me know.
Very good. Okay.
Let me read these, and then we're gonna go off the air, and then you can do this. Very good pay-per-view quality match. Late in the match, the referee gets knocked out. Jericho sets up Rock for the People's Elbow. Rock jumps up to his feet and set up Jericho for the real People's Elbow. Kurt Angle runs in and attacks The Rock. Jericho tries to pin Rock, but only gets a 2 count. Edge runs down and attacks Kurt Angle. They fight through the crowd. Rock eventually wins after a rock bottom. Okay, what are you gonna say as I move on to the next show? You good? Oh shit.
In terms of that show, let's see. What did I put for notes?
Or besides, if your notes.
Billy and Chuck always work legit nobodies. They should have called this the paint can era, because yikes. Albert and Scotty, why?
Dude, every tag match.
Albert turns on him.
So it sucks because our journey has to get involved with tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, let me see what tag team wrestling they had on. It is the shits.
Bro.
Billy are the only actual tag team, and they just keep throwing 2 people at them. Just 2 people at them.
Albert turns and is tired of Scotty Too Hottie because of 6 months of dancing. And I wrote, who waits 6 months?
Yeah, who would be like, you know what? I'm fed up. 6 months it takes you. That's 180 days of dancing, sir. That means you're on the house show circuit, popping and locking with your bucket hat. But it was day 180 where you were like, you know what?
That's
I
too
can't
much.
do it anymore. He woke up on day 80 like, I can't do this. I can't.
I wrote Vince. During Vince's promos, I said Vince was shooting during his I don't care what you want or what the fans want. I know what you want, and I tell you what you want. You'll take what I give you. I was like, you can't tell me Vince wasn't being 100% honest.
Yeah, Vince was telling the absolute truth, sir.
Triple H versus Hulk Hogan. Jericho was just standing there watching TV in an empty room, overacting to The Rock. Dude, Jericho was trying so hard. All Jericho does is eat up the scenery. He's just potted. He's a potted plant. Jericho's such a potted plant.
He's a potted plant. I love that. I love potted plant Jericho. Doesn't he use potted plant in a match with Dean Ambrose later on in his career too?
Rock, Chris Jericho face to face is wild. I never knew how small Jericho is. He must have forgotten the lifts in his boots that day.
Don't be mean.
I'm just saying.
Jim Ross told me little guys can be good too.
DDP versus Christian feels like universe mode. Match was basic, but DDP tried some stuff like a wheelbarrow throw. The punch spot was weird. Oh yeah, did you watch the DDP match?
I'm not gonna watch DDP and Christian because it's got nothing to do with our story.
All right, ready? He does this.
Tell me.
So he does the ready punch. Watch me.
Who?
DDP. Slaps his arm 3 times, then he spins around in a circle, does a discus lariat.
What the?
I was confused. I was like, "What is this booking?
What the hell?" Okay.
Christian committed super hard to the gimmick because he started doing like the tantrum thing in the middle.
Yes. He definitely was all
And
in.
Triple H was huge
To the gills, brother.
And
okay.
And the last thing was I just wrote about Hogan because Hogan told. I just wrote down the lies Hogan told during his promo. He said that there was
during every promo. During every promo,
did you hear this promo he cut where he took us from WrestleMania 1 to WrestleMania 3 to? I was like, stop it, Hulk.
Oh God.
Yeah, Terry. I don't know. I didn't like all these prepared Terry speeches.
I'm cool on Terry. There is some Terry when we get later on because he gets involved with our guys. Yeah, and even Terry listening to him there, I'm like, oh my God. Like grown. All right. So okay, we're here on the 411 episode of Smackdown. This one is done in Tucson, Arizona. Yeah, they put Tucson. Tucson, Arizona.
Oh, wait.
At the Tucson Convention Center. Anything from the dirts?
Let me see from the dirts. What did Dave say? Talked about Stephanie. Nice touch on the Dudleys after losing. Their 3D was up. 3D through the table. Nice pop. Played it up like they were in Philadelphia. Jerry Lawler. ECW chant. Bubba had a black eye, which was never acknowledged. They did a good job with Kane, knowing he has to get over like a big dog now. Very interesting watching Hogan, Kane, and Rock because both Hogan and Rock recognized their role was to get Kane over and set him up, and he came off as a focal point. Hogan is carrying the TV because of the novelty, but they're using him way too much. Hall bled in the match.
Who is this guy?
Hall bled in the match. X-Pac helps Hall and Nash tremendously. Whatever the politics involved in that in life isn't fair, but at least he can carry the workload in the ring. Remember, the less time Nash is in the ring, the better it is for Nash, the fans, and the wrestlers.
Damn.
The only other person that seems to start something with was Raven, who got an interview and the hardcore title clean. Maven took a scary bump when he missed the apron on the spot. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Even with the editing, the main event with Triple H versus Flair versus Angle and Vince was real bad. Even with Angle and Triple H, Flair shouldn't be wrestling this often, nor should Vince. Although Vince clearly wanted everyone to see him at his peak as he was posing away.
God.
The guy was more muscular than Angle. Seriously. The commentary was so weird. Lawler was going overboard, ripping on Flair for not having a tan, when he was, if nothing else, quite tanned, and except in comparison to Vince, who's been living under a sun lamp as of late. It made even less sense.
He was so brown. He was so brown.
Yes.
Yo,
it made even less
sense.
This
guy talking?
Since Lawler was ending up on Raw. The interview early in the show to build up this match got 10 times the heat of the match. Vince said he was worth more than everyone in the building put together. If that's the case, then he's admitting all those demo studies that bury wrestling fans are correct. Clearly, this was booked on the fly since Flair didn't even have his gear. Didn't even have his gear to wrestle with.
Yeah, no, he had pants. He wore street clothes.
In his dress pants and shoes.
Yes.
But he did remove his shirt, which showed that it wasn't a Russo-like excuse, so he had an excuse to wear his shirt while wrestling. That tells you all you need to know about the advanced planning when the guy in the SmackDown main event isn't even told before he comes for a 2-day swing that he's wrestling. Finish came off flat with Undertaker's kick to the face and Vince pinning Flair. Lawler also noted Earl screwed Test in the Van Dam match.
I'm sorry.
Done.
I'm sorry. There's just this is some good photos that I have ready.
Nash suffered a torn bicep, apparently the 318 match in Montreal, which was his first match back in more than a year.
House show?
He underwent surgery on the 4-2. By Dr. James Andrews will be out of the ring for several months.
That's why he wasn't being used. And that's why, wow. So you split up the NWO.
I got you another one split. You'll like this one. It appears that the original plan of separating writing teams for Raw and SmackDown may have been dropped, but we've heard different versions of the story over the past week. With the way they change things on the fly, it's probably better off that way. You don't want crews booking a cage match or doing some screw job finish or a similar match the same week. So there's that.
That was Dave's take on splitting up writing teams, and it's going to happen. So what he heard, he definitely heard some trueness to it, but good, sir. Let's talk about April 11th. Are you good? Anything else on the 4th?
Go ahead.
I'm just asking, was there anything else for that? You good?
Let me see. Other notes on SmackDown. SmackDown tapes Philly. confiscating tons of signs throughout the show, including many pro-Austin signs, which were really weird. After the Flair match, Triple H called Flair to the ring and put him over huge. To the point, Flair was crying in ring.
Off air? Off air.
Off air. Triple H said if it wasn't for Flair, there wouldn't be a wrestler like him. It's well known that Triple H studied a ton of videotape of Flair and Harley Race to pattern his style.
Yes, clearly.
I told you about the Big Daddy bitch line, right?
Yep. That was off air though. Was that?
Well, apparently there's something else.
Again,
some friends of Nash were really joking about Rock getting the better of him on the promo with the unscripted Big Daddy bitch line. Learned that Nash used to practice promos when The Rock was first getting over in WCW with the lines he surprised The Rock with, including Testosterone Boy, in reference to The Rock's former gyno that he had corrected by surgery.
Yeah, his man boobs. Wow.
Nash was talking spicy.
Well then. All right, Vern. Let's get to one of my favorite episodes of this run. The April 11th episode of WWE Smackdown. At that time, it was still WWF Smackdown, I believe. You ready?
Go ahead, Mommy.
The show starts off with our guy, Kurt Angle, and Edge. Kurt Angle expresses his displeasure with Vince, making Hulk Hogan the #1 contender. Kurt says he beat Russians that are a lot tougher than Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. Kurt says he's going to prove that he's better than Hogan tonight. Kurt says that he'll beat Triple H in a non-title match. Kurt gets mad at the crowd for chanting.
Franny,
Kurt gets mad. Yo.
My bad. I just found two more notes that I think are important for us.
Okay, go ahead.
Meltzer reports Mysterio Jr. has been sent a contract for a fairly low amount, but a little higher than has been reported. Pretty much in line with what they're trying to get all but the top people downsides to. Guerrero's contract. April? Yes, sir. This was from last week's, not this week's Observer, but the one the previous week.
On 4-4? On 4-4? Okay. Or that 4-1 maybe, whatever?
Yeah, 3/22/20. Yeah, no, that's not it. Okay. That's April 8th. This is Observer from the April 8th Observer.
April 8th. So okay, this is the week we're watching, or we're going to talk about. Go ahead.
Guerrero contract was for probably about the same downside as Mysterio Jr. We actually heard one report Guerrero downside was only $75K, and while it wouldn't shock me, that figure sounds suspicious because of how he lost his job, getting a DUI just days after completing rehab. It wasn't a surprise to me that financially they aren't going to make a huge commitment in him until he proves himself.
Right. And Jim was head of talent relations at the time.
And here we go. Benoit has reported to the HWA on April the 1st, but he hasn't started taking bumps. Yep.
HWA, Heartland Wrestling Association.
Yep. As far as returning, early May looks like to be the earliest.
And I think he's pretty accurate on that. All right, so on to the next episode.
All right, that's everything. Yeah, that's everything.
Okay, cool. All right, that's fine. So yeah, Kurt gets mad at the crowd for chanting what? Kurt tells the crowd to chant "It's true" after everything he says. Suddenly, Edge's music hits, and Edge comes to the stage. Troll Edge. This is peak Troll Edge here. Edge challenges Kurt to a match at Backlash. Edge tells the crowd to chant "You suck" after everything Kurt says. Then we get a little break. We come back from commercial. Backstage, we get Chris Jericho and Angle. Jericho tells Kurt Angle that he will beat the living hell out of Edge tonight. Kurt says there's nothing he hates more than a loudmouth Canadian with the long blonde hair and dresses like a rock star. With Jericho right in front of him.
I know. Jericho, I know it was a joke. It was so stupid.
Yeah, it was corny, but I feel like those are Gewurt's writing. You know what I'm saying? Kurt clarifies, except you're cool. Kurt and Chris agree to watch each other's backs tonight. So last week they were on television saying, no, I deserve to be the #1 contender. Screw you. I deserve to be the #1 contender. Week later, hey, man, we're cool. Even though I hate people that look like you. We're cool. Who's writing this?
Pretty much it. Yeah, pretty much it.
Who's writing this? Then there's Tajiri and Tori with that nonsense. Okay.
I hate the Tajiri Tori stuff. I hate
the Tajiri Tori story. That's what they felt that they had to do to get cruiserweights over. Somebody must have been like, just let them wrestle. Because after a while, they just start wrestling. They're just mid-card filler. So
super short match though.
Yes. Backstage, Stacy Keibler. Stacy goes into Vince McMahon's office looking for Vince. Stacy lays down on the couch and waits for him. Just wanted to get that popped in.
Creepy Vince alert.
Hold on. Oh man, yeah, creepy Vince alert is coming. So I know we were watching a bunch early. We have to watch a Deviant Vince at work. Okay, this needs to be done because when I saw this pop up, I said, "Oh man, I didn't know this was this episode."
Creepy, this one, yeah.
We're gonna watch this in its entirety because Deviant Vince is a side character of our journey that we are going to have to witness because this part of the journey with Vince being on TV every freaking episode,
multiple times.
Oops, I'm about to invite somebody. Wrong button. Yeah, dude, tell me about it multiple times, bro. It's ridiculous. It's like, are we gonna? Wait, what's happening? Oh, are we gonna go a different direction? It never seemed like that was gonna happen. What is happening here? Hold on. My joint is bugging out. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to full screen and it won't allow me to full screen. So give me 1 second. Okay, let's try that again. Right here. Okay. Okay, there we are. Some reason it was bugging out on me. All right, boom. Here we are. Ready? And here, I took it away. Here we go. Man, copyright.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the chairman of the World Wrestling Federation, Mr. McMahon.
Go ahead.
Oh Lord!
Look at the genetic jackhammer that is Vince McMahon.
That giant Steve Harvey suit.
Let's be nice.
Like he's a damn hero going off to war.
The 1980s thumbs up into the movie, freeze frame, roll credits. Vince, what was that? What was that? Seriously. In all seriousness, what do we just watch, Vern? What do we just watch?
I don't know. Like we watched somebody's like his fantasies come to life in some weird way, right? Like,
dude.
Oh, yuck, man.
Dude. It is weird. It is disgusting. I'm only laughing because I find humor in it because, like we've been saying, we've been texting each other this. He's never hit it. He never hit it from us. The way he's been, the guy Vince is, he never hit it.
He just laughed about it in a way that would make you go, "Oh, okay, this is ridiculous." He's just being ridiculous, gross humor.
Like, no, this is Vince. This is Vince. So
no.
It's just funny to think. That's why I laugh at that because it's like, no, this is cringe for sure. It's cringe, but it's like, wow. As a teen, I thought this was great. Now as an adult, and what we know about Vince now, it's like, dude, you're so messed up for doing this on national television. All right, so
plus it's just too much. It's too much.
Oh yeah, way too much.
It always feel like Vince always has to take it a step further in one of those creepy things, those creepy angles.
Oh sure, absolutely. Let's see. Next time we got our guys. Let's see. We got Stacy and Vince backstage. Billy, Chuck, Rico versus Maven and Al Snow. Oh no, that was a promo. Sharmell and Hollywood Hogan. We got Chris Jericho versus Edge. Hard fought match. Kurt Angle ends up running in bed. Edge spears him. I don't know. That must have been a typo. Jericho hits Edge with a bulldog. Edge counters the lion salt. Edge covers, but Jericho kicks out. Edge slingshots Jericho into the referee, knocking him out. I think that's like the second ref bump in the same, two straight shows. Edge locks the educator on Jericho. What is the educator? What was that? Is that like the Anaconda Vice kind of move?
No, that's when Edge would grab you around the head and fall backwards, and you take a back bump between his legs.
No, that's the
Edge-O-Matic. That's the Edge-O-Matic.
That's the Edge-O-Matic.
The execution, you said?
No, educator. I don't know that one. Jericho taps out, but it's a submission. I don't remember Edge doing too many submissions. Edge taps out, but the ref doesn't see. Jericho fights back. Jericho brings the chair to the ring. Edge spears Jericho. Angle sucker punches Edge from the outside. Jericho rolls up Edge and pulls the tights to defeat Edge. After the match, Edge and Kurt Angle brawl backstage. Jericho joins in. Angle puts the angle slam on Edge. Here comes Hogan. And Hogan enters and chases off Y2J and Angle. I could have sworn. No, that was a different one, I think, where one of them bipped Hogan on that, but maybe that was a different one. That was right before our Vince McMahon segment we just saw. Stacey, you're hired. This is now the segment right after that we just watched was the debut of your favorite character, Vern. And we won't probably talk about him much, but we'll bring him up. Reverend Devon, my brother.
I hated this character.
Testify, brother. Talk to me.
I hate it. He doesn't have the cadence down. It's almost like someone told him this is your gimmick, and they explained it to him, but they never gave him an example. So he just decided he'd make it up on his own. I got so annoyed watching this. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I like it for the fact that they gave him a chance. It didn't work, sure. Obviously. It didn't work, but they gave him something to go with. Devon was never going to excel as a singles competitor. I don't know what Vince thought, like, oh, I can break up any team and make them both stars.
Correct.
As opposed to keep these guys together and they have star power together.
Yep.
You couldn't do that with the Outlaws. It didn't work.
Nope.
Right? You couldn't do it with the Dudleys. It didn't work. Even when you did it, let's go recent. And even though they screwed themselves up, Enzo and Big Cass, you split them up, it didn't work.
Nope.
You split them up before they even got a chance to bubble, and it didn't work. Splitting teams up sometimes guys got to stay as teams. Look at me. I don't ever want to be a singles competitor. I figure once I became a teammate with Shay, I was like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be doing because it just felt right. You know what I mean? When something feels right, you stick with it.
I do.
But my man Vince was just like, I'll break up anybody I feel. So yeah, what did you think? Good sir. Anything on Reverend Devon you wanna talk about besides
that he didn't get the cadence?
This cadence is what hates you.
That's the thing that pissed me off because there's a style to it.
Of course.
And if you watch the promo, he did this the entire promo.
He kept fixing. That's nerves. He's nervous.
The whole time he fidgeted.
He's in front of his paycheck.
Mr. McMahon. Oh, yo, yes, sir. Yes, so my brother. Like, and he just kept saying testify. And I was like,
testify.
That's not it, though. Like, that's
my
not his
brother.
Yeah, I hated it. I realized at that moment, Brother Devon, Reverend Devon is the most hated. Probably the number one most rotten, hated gimmick.
So I'm not going to play anything. I was just skipping ahead. Sidebar right now.
Yep.
This has to be the weirdest pause I've ever seen. How does Kurt's face look like this right now?
Ha!
What is that? That's like the derp face of the century. What is that right there? How does that happen to your face while you're walking? I just wanted to point that out to you. So yeah, we're going to talk about that match. So we had Reverend Devon. We also had Mark Henry doing his strongman spot. This was the one where he can hold back the wheels of a limo for 30 seconds, and Tess didn't believe him. Tess revved up, and great TV magic, making Mark look strong. Got to do something.
Well, no,
Mark, right?
That's a shoot though. That's a shoot old carnival trick. How to hold the car back with the with your feet.
Huh?
That's a shoot carnival trick. How to you'd get up against a wall, push it with your feet, and you'd hold the car for 30 seconds. That's a carnival. That's a parlor trick.
Okay, so you telling me, with millions invested into a man like Mark Henry.
Oh, no. I'm not suggesting that this was done in a shoot. But what I'm saying is Cornette tells it all the time that it's an old territory trick. That's one of the old things that you would do in the old territory days. You'd set that spot up like tearing a phone book in half. It's not so much you're going to be the strongest guy.
Carnival.
It's carnival. It's a carnival.
Yeah.
So the foot
trick.
carnival thing, I guarantee you that idea, Jim Cornette gave him that idea. That's a Cornette idea. And he would have been down in OVW training with Cornette.
Okay. That makes sense. Sense.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily that you have to be a strongman. There's an actual there's a working way. There's a way to work that you can work that deal and get.
But the way you said it, you made it sound like, oh no, Mark did that on the shoot. I'm like, wait, huh? I was like, wait.
No.
No, you're saying there's a trick to it.
It might have been, it could have been a shoot, but I know Cornette said it. There's a trick to it that anybody could, that not anybody, but that someone could normally do it. But
yeah,
obviously, I'm just suggesting it possible. This could be possible.
Okay.
Anything is possible.
Main event, April 11th SmackDown. Sorry. Triple H versus Kurt Angle. Late in the match, Triple H pulls down Kurt Angle's tights, exposing his thong. Good spot. They use it again later on in the months. A little later, Jericho runs down and pulls the referee out of the ring. Jericho attacks Triple H. Angle covers Triple H. 1, 2, kick out. Jericho and Angle double team Triple H. Suddenly, Hulk Hogan jogs down. Jogs? In 2002? I'm going to say suddenly Hulk Hogan power walks down and beats up Jericho and Angle.
He did. He power walked because if he would have ran, he would have ridden the motorcycle.
Yeah, facts. Triple H gets up and pedigrees Kurt Angle. Triple H wins the match. Triple H isn't happy that Hulk Hogan helped him out. Triple H tells Hogan to stay out of his business until Backlash. Hogan says that until Backlash, Triple H is his business. Hogan turns to walk away. Kurt Angle sneaks up behind Triple H and pushes him into Hogan. Hogan gets up and attacks Triple H. Hogan hits the leg drop on Triple H. Jangle? Is that the team of Jericho and Angle? Jericho and Angle roll in and take out Hogan. Jericho and Angle taunt the crowd. Jericho gets his hands on the title belt as SmackDown goes off the air.
The heat, brother.
And he got to end off with some heat. The one photo that I wanted to show you was this one, buddy. There you go. That's the one I wanted to show you.
Ridiculous.
This might be the thumbnail. The birth of Deviant. Paul Heyman in the SmackDown 6, the birth of Deviant Vince.
Because he's all over these shows.
He's all over. These shows are all about Vince. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy how much Vince we get in these early goings. All right, so I'm thinking, because I know we set up for 8, but obviously with how long the draft went.
Yeah, I was like, dang, we're almost at 3 hours. I was like, man, we made it through. Wow.
We did. I think we're almost at a month now. I think the next next show would be the pay-per-view, which is Backlash. So this is a good spot to end.
You know what? Actually, maybe that actually might make sense. What if we did them in monthly bites like that? What if we did them in
we just go pay-per-view to pay-per-view?
Or I guess in the journey, because that might make sense to like heroes dissect the week, that month in wrestling, month that gets us to the next thing. Maybe that'll be a digestible way. That's, I guess, because I'm always just thinking in structure, in terms of structuring it, so that way we just know. Every time we do it, we know. All right, let's prep to have the month ready for it. Because when we think about it, because we have 30 episodes to watch. And I realized that you and I, when we were off air, you and I kept talking about it. I'd be like, yo, do you remember this? And you'd be like, nah.
No.
And it's just like, all right. So that's what I'm thinking, maybe more digestible. If we did it let's say we'll do a month's worth. And that way we won't go 3 hours necessarily every show. Because I'm actually shocked that we went this long on those shows.
It's the draft. That's why. I knew we were going to go long on the draft because I wanted to cover all of it. But plus, every other show since, we're skipping through.
Yeah, and I think that this would also give us more time to work with the video, right? Like work with the video, read more from the Observer, do more of that peripheral stuff too.
Yes. Because
I had a couple of more. I had some little tidbits I wanted to bring up there from the Observer stuff, but then again, I was always like, I also it just feels like it's more minutia now. It's just filling in time here. So right. In the case of this, this week's Observer, there was nothing really that I read that was big.
That mattered at all?
No, to these particular things, no.
Okay, let me just make sure I'm checking the 418.
See? They introduced Mark Henry doing the old feat of strength where he braces against the wall, locks his legs on the bumper of a car, and keeps the car from being able to move as his wheels smoke. The old-time strong guys like Joe LeDuc, Igor, Ken Patera, and Ivan Putski used to do that thing.
That's what you were talking about. There you go.
Yeah. There you go, Mark.
Why I gotta be a mark?
Because you're pulling a prop. You're pulling a prop out to be like, oh, what are you talking about? Yeah, are you gonna tell me you're gonna come up with one of your stupid things you read in a book? And it's like, no, calm down. This is history behind it, you jerks. I understand. Everyone gets all mad at me because I like to talk about the history of wrestling.
History buff Vern over here.
I know,
Jesus
exactly. What do you want me to tell you? Sorry, I can't know this thing and not bring it up.
No, hey, listen, like I said, I was just like, wait, you trying to tell me the way it sounded like it was a shoot. I was like, a shoot? Hell no. There's no way. But then, how did you explain?
But you can. It can. I mean, it's a shoot in the sense that it's being real car is being used, etc. But
of course,
it's not a shoot in the sense that it's a work. It's a shoot in the sense that it's real happening, but it's a work in that you have to work.
There's a meta behind it. So,
correct, because you would break your legs if that car was trying to wrestle you.
Hold on. There's just a Vince. I see a Vince McMahon promo here. I'm just looking at here. So there's some notes that I have here. This is on the 418 Smackdown. Matter of fact, we are in Houston, Texas at the Compaq Center. We have the announcers of Michael Cole and Taz. It's April 18th, 2002. We have a lot of things that have nothing to do with, again, we said edge and angle, right? Mm-hmm. Not a lot of edge and angle on this show. So we start off with a 6-man tag. Man, and this is that tag team division, Vern. Albert, Billy, and Chuck with Rico versus Rikishi, Maven, and Al Snow. Awful. Like, really bad. Then we have a Stacy Keibler and Hulk Hogan, dude, promo in the backstage. We get a Billy Kidman and Hurricane promo backstage.
Oh, that promo was so annoying.
Awful.
Did you hear when Kidman was like, "What, do you expect me to say the name of the town we're here in Texas?"
That's silly way. Yeah,
Lord, it was so corny.
Yeah, terrible. Billy Gibbons' ZZ Top was here, if you remember that.
Yes.
If that popped you. Did I miss? Wait a second. So Chavo was here on this episode.
Yeah.
I must have skipped so fast that I didn't.
That's what I told you. That's when you said to me, he was like, Chavo. I said, nah, bro, Chavo's on the show.
I was like, yo, I don't see Chavo. I think I right the first time I thought I see Chavo. I didn't even realize he was there. So Chavo and Tajiri with Tori versus Hurricane and Kidman. Just more cruiserweight. My Lord, just more of that.
The same match recycled over
and over. We have Mark Lloyd and Mark Henry. They're talking about his feats of strength and all that. Test with the all the bets and all that. Okay, here we go. In the ring, Hulk Hogan and Chris Jericho. Hulk talks about what the WWF title means to him. Oh my God, these are those promos, my Lord. Hulk says that he believes that he can do this. Hulk says that the fans believe that he can do this. Suddenly, Chris Jericho music hits and Y2J comes to the stage. Y2J says that the reality is that Hogan is a joke. Y2J badmouths Hogan and Hulkamania and all the Hulk's fans, dude. Hogan snaps to Jericho, telling him to come to the ring. Hogan gets the first punch in. Kurt Angle runs down and attacks Hogan. Y2J and Angle double team Hogan. Edge runs down and makes the save. So right now we're starting to see a lot of Edge, Jericho, Hogan, and Angle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're starting to see that a lot so far. A lot of Jericho and Angle working together, Hogan getting in the mix, Edge getting in the mix, and sometimes there's peppered in with Triple H. I'm starting to notice that too. I don't know if you peeped that at all. After that, we get a backstage promo of Vince McMahon and Edge. Vince bitches out Edge for interfering in the match. Vince tells Edge to get out of here. Edge gets in Vince's face and intimidates the WWF co-owner. You remember that promo?
Say it again.
The passionate promo from Edge. It says Edge gets in Vince's face and intimidates the WWF co-owner. It was like, right, what the hell are you doing out there? You know, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And then Edge got in his face and made him back. Yeah. Vince looks very stressed as Edge walks away. Vince tells Stacy to bring Triple H to his office. We get Test and Farouk. Triple H and Stacy Keibler promo. We got Sharmell and Hardcore Holly. Backstage, Vince McMahon chases Stacy Keibler, Triple H, DDP and Hardcore Holly in a match. Yeah. Backstage, we get Kurt Angle and Chris Jericho. Angle and Jericho talk about their match with Triple H and has-been Hogan. He was trying. I see what you're talking about, Vern. He was trying.
Mm-hmm.
In the ring, it says Brother Devon here, but it's Reverend. Reverend Devon preaches to the crowd. Devon says that Vince McMahon is a prophet, Vern.
This is so.
How's that make you feel? What's the definition of a prophet?
A prophet is somebody who has who brings like a word, a warning, advice, etc. Someone who speaks a word of knowledge, who is sent with this important word to share.
So what is Vince sharing with us? Is deviancy a word?
Nothing. It just was so stupid.
Is that a word? Deviancy? Yes. Deviancy training, sexual deviancy training. When I heard him say profit, I said, "Ooh, I know that went sideways up Vern. Like you got some nerve."
I got so mad. I hated this.
Oh.
I hated it so much. I mean, I get why they did it, right? I get that because it connects him to Vince. So clearly, that's his way of being like, "See, I'm not blurring lines. Like I said, Vince McMahon and blah blah blah."
Yeah.
But it was just so poorly done. It was so Temu. It was the Temu version of it.
So I think the problem with it altogether is they figured, well, the only way Devon's going to get heat, real good heat, is if we immediately pair him off with Vince. But Vince was already stretched so damn thin through the show. Yep. It felt like B-roll. Like, we're not supposed to care about this. It's just Devon.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's where the problem lied. And then when he finally got him in the ring and the bell rang, you put him against guys that weren't meaningful at the time. So, but anyway, main event time. Triple H and Hulk Hogan versus Chris Jericho and Kurt Angle. That's number 2. Just letting you know. That's tag match number 2. This one doesn't have Edge in it, but it has Angle involved in a tag match. That's number 2. Late in the match, Hogan accidentally hits Triple H with the chair. Edge interferes and takes out
How
Kurt
bad
Angle.
was that chair shot?
Hogan don't know how to hit it, man.
Yo, Hogan just held it.
So ginger. So ginger, bro. I can't stand when Hogan has a chair. I ain't never noticed it.
Hogan could have tore toilet paper with that chair shot.
Like a toddler wouldn't react to that chair shot, bro. Like you hit a toddler with that chair. The baby would be like, "You tapped me with something?"
Word with mad soft skull baby, bro. Mad soft skull baby catch a head bump with that joint.
Like infant. Yeah, like come on, bro. Like what are you doing, Hogan? I don't understand. Because everybody swings the life out of a chair. Everybody. Hogan he doesn't move it. He just holds it in place and goes to you. And it's like, stop it, Terry. Terry, just stop. Just stop. Just drop the leg, buddy. Hogan must pose. Just drop the leg. Hogan must pose. All right, here we go.
Must pose.
Was there okay? Triple H stands over Hogan with the championship belt as SmackDown goes off the air. So if I'm not mistaken, Vern, that would stop our journey here. Actually,
correct. But just 2 things on the show. This show did include Creepy Hulk. After the opening 6-man, we got a Creepy Hulk where Hulk got Stacy Keibler goes to get Hulk, and Hulk's like, "Right, you go first. I'll follow you."
Yes.
And I was like, ugh. Wait, Creepy Vince and Creepy Terry. Okay. When we get Creepy Vince and Terry together in their office, no bueno. Because again, same thing. What? You want an old man like that? Not like me? And I was like, what is going on? You two are
save those. That's for the next episode. See, this is why I like this.
Okay,
I kind of like that we did the month.
I made all these marks about it because Creepy Vince was all over this episode too, and Creepy Triple H is here.
Wait, Creepy Vince was all over this episode too? Hold on.
Yes, dude. When Triple H rips his shirt off, and it was Triple H. He rips his shirt off and tells Stacy Keibler, he tells her, "Oh, what? You want that old man? You don't want a real man?"
Okay, so I wrote McMahon is the top guy on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Involved in the major storyline as the controlling boss. Feels like there is no point to him being part of the story. That's what I wrote as a note. So you're absolutely correct on there. Reverend Devon debut, Mr. McMahon's spiritual advisor. Fart in church, pun intended. Besides the what chance? Could this gimmick ever could this gimmick ever work? That was a question I wanted to ask.
No, can I tell you? I feel like it could work, but part of the thing that it's just, do you know if I told you, Franny, I'm doing a new gimmick, I'm doing a new basketball gimmick. I'm gonna be the new power forward winger on the basketball team.
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about.
But I'm going, Frank, calm down. I'm the basketball guy. I got the hat, the coat. You see, I got the jersey on. I've got the gear. No. I'm the best. And that's what this feels like. That you can clearly see through it. Because when he's going out there and he's doing the like, as we are,
my brother. Yeah.
And you're going to hand me that dollar. We'll take that dirty sinful. It was just like, you're doing tropes of what you've seen. But it's like you don't actually know what you're talking about. Because it just, like I told you, when Mark Henry did it in the scene, when Mark Henry and Farouk were with him, we'll talk about it, I think, next month. Yeah. The next month's show.
Yep.
Mark Henry does it. And Mark Henry was like, "Oh, my brother, you need to go on before something to really go down." I was like, "Okay, Mark."
Remember that. I do remember that now. Now that you say that,
got the cadence and got how to do it.
Yep.
Devon might have had some of the verbiage, but his delivery was so fake and so see-through.
Yeah.
And I know you're just a guy playing a character, and you're a guy who's trying to do the voice to pretend to be the character, but it feels like you're just mocking this character versus you're attempting to portray the character. You know what I mean?
I think that's the issue.
I'm basketball Vern, and I'm power forward winger. And I'm gonna get my basketball bat and I'm gonna score I'm gonna score a goal.
Oh God, you're gonna score a goal.
Correct. Crap like that you'd be like, you just stop it. You've exposed yourself. Just stop. You've exposed it enough. You don't have to keep going.
Ugh, terrible.
And every week we gotta watch this idiot. And every week I write, I hate this gimmick. I hate Devon. God.
All right, so
wait till we get to the run-in stuff. When the stuff with his run-ins, the SmackDown 6 can't come soon enough.
Like I said, we have to struggle. We have to struggle for 90 days. We went through 30. So I like this. I like this format.
Yeah.
Get 30 days at a time. I think this is good. Like I said, we're figuring it out as we go along. We just hit record and we just went, let's see what works. So now we know what'll work, and I think we'll be better prepared for the second episode. But like I said, we're figuring it out. No big deal.
Agree.
It's not like our audience is going to text or complain to us, right? What audience? Hi, guys.
Indeed.
So, dude, next time we come on, Backlash will start with. We'll get to see Brock Lesnar do his first ever televised match. You ready for that? You excited?
Heck yeah! Backlash was a decent watch.
Backlash was a decent pay-per-view. I watched it in total.
Yeah, I was I watched Backlash. So I was like, Backlash. I watched them all at home.
Yeah, at home. Yeah, you watch it at home. Of course. Where else would you watch it?
Where else would I watch wrestling? But at home.
You're damn right.
You're damn right.
All right. Well, wow. Are we going to wrap this thing on up how we normally wrap this thing on up? How are we going to do this?
Frank, it's been fun. It's been a good conversation.
Let's get out of here.
I'm so glad we had a chance to walk down memory lane together, but now it's time to conduct ourselves on back home. Let's get back to the future. Let's return to a time when wrestling, as The Rock says, wrestling is cool again.
Wrestling's cool again. Goddamn right. Dude, okay, before we go off, Monday night, what you think? Last promo Monday night.
All right. So let's end the show on a little modern talk then.
Yeah, sure. Sure, why not?
I love that after Monday night, every AEW fan took a victory lap. I love that every AEW fan took a victory lap and said, this is proof that they watch us because they want to be us. So if you want more of that, I'll tell you where you can find it, friend. I love that immediately that was the energy. The energy wasn't like, oh, that sucked. Oh, Cody did awesome. Or no, it was immediately they copied us.
Yeah, they copied us.
That's something guys, we would do. If you want the OG, come to us. That's the team move.
But okay, hold on. Before you go on, is that them? What have they done like that? Maybe the Swerve promo where he showed up at Homeboy house.
There was that. There wasn't that picture that Prof sent us in the group chat had like 6 examples of like this is just this off the top of my head without trying.
I didn't even see that. I didn't even.
Yeah,
see
it was
that.
like 6 different times. Like it's like this is just without trying. Working. So it showed John Moxley. There was a John Moxley one. There was Swerve. I'm trying to think of what other ones. I think it was one was Penta Zero Miedo and something else. But there was like 3 or 4 of them. And the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match was on there.
I'm trying to find it. Oh my Lord. Some of these pictures we send each other should be thrown away. Oh, here it is. It's so cute that drones and shills are gaga over the last 30 seconds of Raw, calling it the Theory Ever. The fact that somebody said 30 seconds, that was like legit 4 or 5 minutes. Okay.
7:58.
It was 7? Was it 7?
7:58, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I watched
who's giving time?
Repeatedly watch that clip. Yeah.
You know, since AEW's been doing that for 5 years and all they get is grief from the same folks. Okay. AEW is overusing blood on his television shows. That was correct. Because every time Moxley wrestled. Okay. But none of these examples have to do with bleeding. So the go fuck yourself from Christian, because Rock is using the F word now. Oh, Christian's the only one that can use the F word in wrestling now, in modern wrestling. Yo, I'm done. All right, we out of here. We're out of here. Vern, that's how we're always going to end off these episodes. Some modern wrestling nonsense. I think that's how we do this.
And there it is.
Are you
there
good?
It is, my friend.
I'm good.
I'm good because I'm gonna go take a victory lap because they're copying us. They vindicated us because if you drop the F-bomb, if you don't dance on the way to ring because dancing started the dub.
Swear when you drive, brother. All right, say
like
peace,
singing.
Vern. We about this.
Because remember, and that's also another one. The victory lap was you guys should thank us because we taught you how to sing during the wrestler's entrance. That was another strong feeling of the basement was we need to start claiming what's ours, what we started in this revolution and what they're taking from us.
Okay, bro. Whatever you say, dude.
So like
whatever you say, dude. Cool story, bro.
You're good. I'm good.
So you're good. I'm good. We're good. Say peace, Vern. We up out of here.
Peace, Vern.